You know, I am your resident tale weaver, Omar, and I will be running this campaign of Descent to the Void 2. But enough about me. You want to know more about the amazing cast who's going to be basically carrying this entire campaign. So I'm going to go around this beautiful circle you have presented in front of you. That will be significant as the story goes on. But first, so let's start from the left, and we're going to work our way around clockwise. So, Travis, would you please introduce yourself and tell us who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I am your resident wizard enchanter, Zandarik, and earlier today I was your professor. I have been playing D&D for many multiple years, and Zandarik is very near and dear to my heart. He was actually formulated way back in Burning Crusade WoW eras, and he was my first love and creation, and I've carried him throughout every game, MMO, and everything that I do, and I'm so excited to actually bring him to life and bring him to this game, and be the wizard you all know I am. And yeah, I guess I don't know anything else. I'm excited to be here and play in this campaign, and that's it, I guess.
Awesome, awesome. And it is great to have you. Let's continue around the circle clockwise and touch up on Katie. Hello, Katie.
Hello. I've already forgot what I'm supposed to be saying. Who I am, Katie, where I'm from. I was born in upstate New York in 1994.
Man.
I am playing Andrina Shrub, or Drina for short. She is. Do you want me to say like class and race and all that kind of stuff now, or should we wait for
We'll
that?
wait for that. We'll definitely be going to
Okay.
that.
She's great. She's awesome. I can't wait to play her. Ben and I and Zeki as well are from AP Amateurish Productions, but very closely intertwined with all the folks over here at ATOD. And yeah, I'm just super excited to be here and to start exploring this new world with everybody.
Awesome, awesome. And of course, no stranger to Tale d20s, one of our founders as well, Zeki. Can you please introduce yourself? Tell us a little about the
Hey
Zekster.
everybody, it's your boy Zektown, the unionizer between A Tale of D20s and Amateurish Productions. But I am playing Sully Oberto. He has some surprises for y'all, and I can't wait for you to see them. Uh, what else? I guess I was born in Western Pennsylvania. If I'm going to follow up with what Katie was doing, back in the year of 1990, the turn of the century. Um, and other than that, I guess I'm super excited to finally play a class for an entire campaign span that I've never done before. So this is going to be a big journey for me as well, and an experimentation of the genre that is Dungeons and Dragons. So thank you all for joining me on this journey that we're about to embark on together.
Awesome, awesome. It's a pleasure to have you. Moving right along, let's give some warm loves to a great friend near and dear to us all, and an amazing role player, you'll find out soon, of Adam. Hello, Adam.
Me, moi. Hello, internet. He, him, his. That's my biz. I'm Adam, one half of the Pun Brothers duo, and a returning ATOD gamer, ready to put in some role play to make some role pay.
Awesome, awesome. And you'll know you'll see that we'll use that terminology a lot. Role pay, as in you can get away with anything in one of my campaigns as long as you role pay for it, because I want that juicy acting.
It's very true.
Yeah, as
The
long
power of friendship can pay for anything.
power of friendship. Like I was looking at more. This is an anime-based campaign, so yeah, the power of friendship will get you far. I'll tell you that much. And also, but moving right along, and also I know another big otaku head, so I can't wait to see what comes out of their character as I introduce Rachel. Hello, Rachel.
Hello, the folks of A Tale of D20s chat. I'm Rachel. I'm from the tubes of the internet, and I'm here to play Ink. And that's all. just ink. Don't worry about it. They're just ink. It's fine. Please use my pronouns. They're all of them. She, they, he. That's for me. I decided to make a rhyme as well. What else was I supposed to say? The tubes.
Yeah, just the two where they can find you or anything else. Or...
and I'm a big fan of Sailor Moon and Jim and the Holograms. If that doesn't do anything for you.
Wait, are we supposed to name our favorite animes?
Nope,
No.
but
I love Sailor Moon. I'm
Yeah.
with you, Rachel.
Oh,
everyone will find out why soon. Why
Okay.
I mention it.
fair enough.
Sweet. And then last but certainly not least, we have my GM over at Amateurs Production, a great friend and an amazing person all around, the myth, the man, the legend, Ben.
Hello, everyone. That is my name. I was born in the heyday of the 1990s in 91 out in Tucson, Arizona. I'm playing Irulan Amberfoot. I once was a farmer, then I lost my mentor, and now I'm looking for her and hoping that I'm getting warmer.
God damn it.
Gotta love it. Got
Is
to
this
love
this is
it.
going to be a bit. I'm going to commit.
What?
Unintentional, but here we are.
Ben, you're quite a little star.
Stop it.
Alrighty, so with that being said, that is the lovely cast of Descent into the Void campaign 2. So now, before we jump right into some gameplay, this is a session 0, and we decided to wear our heart on our sleeves and be completely transparent and show you the process of what a typical, or what we suggest a typical session 0 should go in your own very home, which is, of course, going through lines and veils, setting the feel of the campaign so everyone understands it is comfortable with it, reviewing characters, and then diving right in if you have time, which we do to have the time to dive right into session 0. So I'm going to go ahead and put on some nice little session 0 music, and then we are going to review some lines and veils. So now, everyone, you all had received a sheet or a Google form going over lines and veils. What lines and veils are basically a way for the GM and the players to connect and explain exactly what they're comfortable with and what they're not comfortable with and what they want to see within the campaign that they're all playing. Everyone's opinion and ideas are equally as important, no one more than the other, and we want to make sure that everyone has a comfortable, great experience, including you, Chad, as well. If you want to post your own lines and veils, please post them in the chat, and so that way we are aware. But here we have, as we go through the Descent into the Void TTRPG consent form for our lines and veils, I asked the question was horror. Descent into the Void is a dark fantasy role-playing scenario, so there's going to be lots of scary stuff, horror, blood, things like that. But I want to make sure everything that I present to you is okay. So, and in any moment you all can just jump in and tell me how you feel, but let's just go over, how do you all feel about blood? Are we expecting it? Okay with it? Be very careful with it, or no blood at all?
Bleed me dry. I don't care.
I'm expecting some
blood,
evisceration with, the amount of swords that we have in Dungeons and Dragons, axes. Many cleaving objects exist in our universe, so I kind of expect some blood.
Very weirdly, I would prefer not to have my character have to get blood drawn, but I don't think that that's gonna happen.
Yeah, hypodermic needle is a big thing in Dungeons and Dragons.
Hey, crazy thing about 0 is actually I'm going to need a sample of each of your blood right from the top. So buckle up, buttercups.
Yeah, I'm going to need, everyone needs to give their blood to the Fractal Sanctorum before
Sure,
continuing. No, yes.
Honestly, I wouldn't even mind if my character had to get blood drawn. I just don't want like a visceral description of the needle.
You watch as the
Yeah, we don't need to go any further there.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. That's where I stop.
Totally understood. So, blood is A-okay, it sounds like, because there's going to be lots of it. Up next, broken bones. Are we all good with broken bones? I feel like if we're good with blood, we must be good with broken bones.
Yeah.
Be a weird line to. I mean, I'm sure someone draws that line.
I have reset my own bones in real life, so I am down with fantasy bones.
I only reset computers.
But you're just down with fantasy bones in general, or breaking them?
Whoa.
Yes.
That's a different section of this.
All right, so bones are good to go. Perfect. Anyone have any bug phobias or vermin phobias, creepy crawlies?
Not in pretend, but in real life. But let's make bugs happen that are fake in our minds, in the theater of the mind. Bugs.
Got it.
I am
Yeah.
also pro fake bugs.
Yeah, pro fake bugs are fine.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I don't love spiders IRL, and I also don't love maggots IRL. But in game, oh, lay it on me. Not literally though. That no, literally. Fuck it, let's do it.
All right, perfect. Bugs are
I'll
okay.
Here,
cry
here
on the
first.
inside.
What about cannibalism? I don't foresee that I'm going to do any cannibalism, but it is an option on this list. How do we feel about
Love me some good long
human
pig.
noise?
me,
eating
daddy.
humanoids? All right.
Consume me, father.
Fine.
Okay, so it sounds like cannibalism's fine. All right, so I hope you're okay with this because that's literally going to be most of this campaign. Demons and religious horrors. We all good with
Yes.
demons,
Right
right?
on.
Yeah,
Bring
hey, Omar, there's no way you could traumatize me more than the Catholic Church did. So
I was gonna make a joke about we've got the Catholic Church in real life, so like nothing you can come up with in a horror setting is going to be worse.
Okay, perfect. So we're good with on the demon side. All right, so up next, how about anything with eyeballs? How like, you know how people have phobia of eye, things touching their eye? If I'm like a demon gets down, his tongue becomes really thin and starts going towards your eye or something like that.
Ugh.
Ugh.
I hate it, but I
Ew,
love it.
I like it.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick it for myself, but I'm okay with it in fantasy world.
Got it.
Yeah, he's like, just do it to somebody else's character. We're fine.
All right. So don't need to go into guts and gore. Sounds good because the same thing with the blood and the with the bones.
I actually, sorry, no, I have
Oh.
Gore's the one I have I don't love extreme descriptions of gore. That's sort of my one thing. Like I'm not like I don't myself personally, I know people love horror and scary. I don't love that. It's not my take. I sort of avoid horror in real life, like movies and things like that. And gore, I skip gore movies altogether. So I'm okay with some description and even like moderate description, but I don't want like their guts are spilling out and you see the blood and they're grabbing the things and like just like medium description. I don't need like tons and tons of description. You know what I mean?
Got it. Got it.
That's my one sort of like minimal
Light
line.
gore.
Light gore, if you will. You know.
Yeah. I personally don't think I can. Even I would do that. I couldn't like go into like the visceral details of like tearing your. Yeah, I'll say that it happens, but I won't go on like and the blood drips and then the parts come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've played together before, so you know my limits. But
Yeah,
I just wanted to be forthright on with
stream.
everyone. Yeah.
Honestly, you'll notice reviewing this, your limits are farther than mine. So I feel like it'll be good. I'm just like, oh, people okay with this? Okay, great. Good to know. How about harm to animals? I know some of us have animal companions and people love animals. I love animals. How do we feel about harm to animals?
Is the animal a dick? Like, is it like a dickhead
How,
like deer?
how can they be a dick? They're animals. Like,
Animals are
they don't
innocent.
even have int 4. If they're
I-
an awakened animal, that's different. But otherwise, like, you know, animal death is kind of like brutality to animals is a bit much. You know,
Yeah.
gore towards animals, that's a bit much. But if a
Yeah.
dog gets knocked out or kicked, I mean,
I mean, I also think that if there's like a specific plot line that's like like, oh, like this village has been finding dead cats or something like that. Like, I'm okay with that, personally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just ask that you don't go JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and just kill a dog every time you want to show the most villainous character.
Yes.
You know?
I think sparingly, though, that is a good way to indicate that, like, that's a dickhead. You know what I mean? So, but I agree with you, Rachel. It doesn't need to be every villain.
Yeah.
Got it. So
Even villains like dogs.
even Bill.
I'm sure villains have pets. Come on now.
Yeah, my cat is sitting on my lap as I'm like, yeah, show me some animal cruelty.
Oh no.
Pete's
So-
on
He
the
has no
line
idea.
right now.
He's just like, oh, mama.
Aw.
Actually, I have a question for you, Omar, about familiars, but we can do that later. But I just want to vocalize it so I don't forget.
Got it. I'll remember as well. Well, I say that now,
Cool.
but I'll try to. But yeah, so totally. I'll probably with my veil on that. I don't want, like, if an animal is dead, that it will be described as such. But I'm not going to go into any details of an animal dying, or if like an animal companion dies, then that's just like that may happen. But won't go into anything like excessive plots about a bunch of people killing animals or something like that, because I love animals too much. Harm to children. Here's a good one. How do we feel when it comes to harm to children, and what is our levels with that?
I'm not huge on it.
I feel like childhood trauma can be good, like, influences for characters, but like I don't necessarily want to watch it happen in real time. Like, it's okay if people talk about like something that happened in their childhood that was like shaped who they were as a character or as like a PC or an NPC or whatever. I don't really want to watch a kid get like killed.
Adversity makes a child stronger.
But
But it's the adversity that we sign up for as opposed to like watching. Yeah, I think I'm
Yeah,
with Katie.
see my previous comment about the Catholic Church.
Yeah. My TV
Yeah,
says, how
maybe,
annoying
like-
are the children?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
And like
you know-
some issues maybe with like illness in children's, like terminal illness in children's from my personal past, it might be a bit much for me.
Good to know. Thank you.
I'm on board with that one. That could be a
Yeah.
lot.
I feel like this is where I'm the most extreme of everyone. I'm like, drop the orphanage, blow the building up. You know, it happens.
Blowing up an orphanage is different. I
You
mean,
know,
I don't even
I was gonna
see
say,
it.
weirdly,
Travis-
I'm okay with an orphanage blowing up. I just don't want to watch an individual child die.
I
It's
like
a
Yeah.
made
completely different-
I think the part of this is the fact that Travis is okay with killing children, but you can't describe it at all. They can just be dead.
Yes.
So like you start
like-
describing how you eviscerate them, and that's where Travis draws the line.
I guess
You know.
exactly. Yeah. In my
That
previous
doesn't make any
campaign,
sense.
I like made Zeki and Omar like try and save kids from a building that was falling down. Like so.
Yeah,
I've,
like
I've gone there.
Yeah, could the villain be mean to an adult instead? Preferable.
Got
Yeah.
it.
But then I think of the kids in Skyrim, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm on board.
Yeah, if the kid's a dickhead, all bets are off. But in general,
That's a shy away from.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it worth it.
yes.
I guess is what we're saying. Like,
I'm here
it.
for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Alrighty. So, and finally, possession. I mean, are you okay with me possessing you with ghosts
Yes.
and
Possess
other
me,
things like that?
Daddy.
Zero issues. That sounds
Yeah.
so much fun.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I consent to that in a CNC kind of way.
We're not
Yes,
gonna
exactly.
and I'm not gonna do anything weird, like anything outside of like being evil. Like if an evil person possesses you, maybe you'll try to kill your friends, but nothing out of like.
When you get
That.
possessed, you're gonna kill all the children and animals with one priority.
Destroy all
Will
your
you
lives and
describe
deaths.
it?
Yeah, and we'll describe it in full gory detail.
but first we have to draw blood samples from all
Yes.
of them.
I was gonna go the the route of like the Comcast employees in South Park, where like suddenly you've got like Velcro patches over your character's nipples, and you just start like rubbing them and talking about like all the violence you want to enact on the children and the animals, and it just like, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, not necessary.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Comcast, is that a line or a veil for anybody?
A hard line for me.
Hard line.
Hard
Yeah.
line. Yeah.
Comcast is the horror that I cannot handle.
There will be no Comcast here, trust me. All right, so
General ISP woes, not okay.
yeah, not okay. So the next section is going to be going over. Well, before I'll preface that this is an 18 plus. As you can hear from the swearing and all the things we're doing, stream. We are adults playing, and there will be adult themes that are involved, but we're making sure we do these lines and veils to make sure that we don't cross any bridges, or cross any lines, I should say. And one line that we're going to go over is romance and sex. So, how do we feel about romance, PC to PC romance?
If it's consensual.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Safe, consensual, and sane.
Yeah.
I plan to romance all of you.
All right, so romance is fun. I plan on having NPCs romance you as well, if it comes up.
Oh my.
Which is the next one, romance involving your PC and an NPC.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Awesome sauce. All right, so here it comes. Now, I will say my veil on this before. So, sex between PCs. Now, I am okay with that, but I will only be leaving it to a fade to black. It will not, if that is okay with everyone, we will not going beyond the fade to black. But I'm okay with romancing your fellow PCs and then alluding to that we go to bed together. We've done that in campaign 1. But how's everyone on sex between PCs?
Yeah, no auditory porn.
Yeah.
No.
Hey.
I can't.
Hey, baby, you wanna fade to black with me?
This is there's a different platform if we want to explore that with other,
Yeah.
another time.
Yeah, we're working on it. We have something called Only Feet that we're working on. But that's another story.
I'm playing a halfling who canonically does not wear shoes.
Oh man, you'll be on our Only Feet.
Yeah, you'll be our first posting on the Only Feed.
Because I think Twitch has some things about you're not allowed to show feet, so we're just like, we're gonna do. We're gonna
Wait,
dirty.
really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
So-
It's a thing on Twitch. You're not allowed to show your feet.
I've definitely
Yeah, they're
accidentally showed my
metric.
feet on Twitch before, but that's
You can't show your feet on Twitch?
Only meters,
Apparently.
no feet.
So we were like, well,
even
we're gonna make an
open-toed
Only Feet.
shoes are still unacceptable.
Wow.
Wait, like sandals?
Yeah. Yeah, because like
No
Critical Role
open-toed
people, like when
shoes.
they were going to promote on Twitch, like they made them all people wear like full shoes because they were like reprimanded one time for it. So like they even go after big people too. So
wow.
yeah,
Maybe all the corporate employees at Twitch have foot fetishes and it's just too much for them.
Oh, fire up the rumor mill, baby. Rumor mill. Here we go.
You heard it here first. Everyone who works at Twitch has a foot fetish.
Prereq. They ask you when you
apply.
fill out an application. Like, are you into feet? Totally legal and ethical, and you're absolutely allowed to do that. It's not an invasion of privacy.
Alrighty. But so we are good with sex.
So we'll fade to black then.
As long as it fades to black, totally fine, and no feet will be shown on the stream. Well, I guess in which the next question is like any fade to black, which it sounds like everyone's okay with just the fade to black. So perfect. I'm just gonna say no, hard no for me. Any on-screen sex, like no. Everything will be fade to black. I'm not going to explain in detail sexual positions and anything like that. So that is going to.
quick demonstration. I'm not clear on exactly what it is that we're talking about.
Yeah. So we will definitely a no on on-screen sex. PC pregnancy, is that something that how do we feel that? Must have, don't want, tread carefully, or you'll be okay with it?
Correct me if I'm wrong. Am I the only PC that can get pregnant?
I mean, the magical world.
I'm
anyone
gonna
can get
say
pregnant.
yes because I don't want my PC to get pregnant because I played a pregnant storyline once and I tried really hard to not do that. I was like, I'd like this to not happen. And my DM was like, no, it's gonna happen. So like, I'm out. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
I don't know like what value necessarily
Yeah.
it brings
Right.
to a story.
Yeah.
I'm not like opposed to it. I just don't know that it is necessary.
Yeah, I'd like to
Right.
get ahead of this game and just say if my character ever has an encounter, we are practicing protection to nth degree. Every avenue possible, we're doing it.
Vasectomies, hysterectomies.
Magical contraception, like it is.
My character exclusively eats sullyweed, which prevents that from happening.
I just use prestidigitation all the time.
I was gonna say,
this-
yeah, just presto it away.
Does this include
Yeah.
things like sladworms, though?
Oh, the ones
I
that
don't know what
because
you mean.
that's not really more of you getting pregnant. It's more of you're like infected with a with like a what do you call it?
Yeah,
Like
I
a
don't know
symbiote
why-
type thing.
Like a
Parasite, yes.
kind of thing. Yeah.
Are you trying to say if we're getting aliened or not?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
actually more okay with getting alien
Yeah,
than I am
I
think
with
we
getting pregnant with a human child.
Yeah.
It's true though. Babies are parasites. That is a
It
fact.
is true.
Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, and when they grow up, they remain that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
Well-
they're the parasites you have to be nice to, and that sucks.
That's true.
Oh goodness.
So there's no need. Sounds like not really a hard thing, but like, what's the point? And I'm for it. I don't plan on having a pregnancy thing. Okay. Almost there.
Everyone here practices safe fade to black, just so you know.
We encourage safe fade to black on this channel.
Always.
Mike TV is like, how annoying are the parasites? All right, so now let's go dig into something that really will come to the forefront of this, because Descent to the Void will touch upon a lot of issues in terms of like relationships and attitudes and trauma, drama, and all of that. We're bringing everything to it. This is not a happy campaign, everyone. There'll be happy times, I promise you, but in all aspect of it, it is a dark time in Adramel right now, specifically in Greymore, where we'll be starting. So we'll be dealing with issues. So let's go over the social issue things. Some of these I don't have any plan for, but I do wish to review it. Child brides, child shoulders, and child labors.
Child brides feel kind of like,
I'm not doing
but like child labor, put them kids in the mine.
I mean, like, okay, but real talk, like, why do people have kids? Realistically speaking, it's to get menial labor done around the house. I think we can all agree.
That's why everyone who has ever decided to have a child,
The only
that
reason.
was the only, yeah,
That's-
okay.
that's it.
Just wanted to check and make sure that's exactly what you were saying, and
That
I'm
is-
glad that
yes.
we're clear and on the same page.
You're like,
Thanks for
over
coming
the
to my
window.
TED
Yeah, I'd like to say that we live in a world where like children are not considered like objects of desire in that way. Like just
Yeah.
across, we can do whatever we want in this world, and like nah. But like if some guy wants to Temple of Doom some kids, let's go liberate that mine.
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
Like,
If-
what
if
about
somebody's
arranged
trying to-
marriage, though?
I guess
Say
it
that
depends
again?
on at what point they get married. Because like an arranged marriage, like that might happen. Like it might be arranged when you're
Yes.
toddlers, but you might not get married until you're like of age.
I just think overall, no character should be having sex until they're adults.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with that.
no,
Sure.
that's like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
100. 'Cause
Yeah.
you'll see
No
in some-
fade to black. There's a barrier to fade
No
to black.
minor fade to
Yeah,
black.
no minor
Just
fade to
run
black.
in-
We don't
just-
fade to black with minor.
No
Runs
waffling
into an
between
invisible wall.
being questionably minor or of age either.
Yes.
Got it. So and like one, we do
Are
have
you directing that
backstory.
at me, Zach?
We
Why
do
ever
have
would I
some
do that?
backstories that have like arranged marriages, but like they will become adults. So like before they get married. So it's like, but more like we're rich and noble, and of course your destiny is already laid out in front of you before you're even born. So stuff like that will be there. But no, there will be no like, hi, there's a 13-year-old and this is going to get married. No, none of that will be there. But putting them in labor is fine as long as you up and liberate them, which totally is fine. So awesome. Sounds like we'll go with there. So, homophobia. I will personally say that there is no homophobia within this world. Everyone loves everybody. And well, in terms of no one cares about your sexual preference in this world. There will be people who are bisexual, gay, heterosexual, pan, poly, that I am involving all that in this world because there is no shame on your sexuality at all. It's like just not even, it might be mentioned. You might see a person with with their wife, husband, or non-binary, and all that will be involved. So I will say homophobia is not, or any phobia of that orientation is not in this world. And is that okay with everybody?
Hondo P.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Awesome.
gonna say, if we find anyone who is any of those phobias, we might have some strongly worded conversations with
Right.
sharp
With my fists.
objects.
Right. I
Yep.
like that the general vibe of the world is that like it's accepted throughout, but like maybe there's like a tribe or a group of people or a section that doesn't exactly believe that way, and like if that's something that we have to like overcome, like in an occasion, I would be fine like having to deal with that, but I'm fine with it not being like the norm.
Yeah, like it's an obstacle that's like out of the ordinary in this world, you know, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, "What is your this stinks. Don't do that." And they're
Mhm.
like, "But we're bad," you know, like
Yeah, exactly. Like if it's a baddie,
Yeah.
I get it.
I feel like even the bad guys would be like, "Oh, we're bad. We're not that bad."
like
Like, oh, like, we're bad. We're not.
hey,
Like, we're not savages.
our
or
henchmen have an
barbarians.
LGBTQ you know, like group, you know, they like we're very into diversity, equity, and inclusion here
We also provide
at
dental.
Skull Crusher Mountain. You know?
Mhm.
Me and my polycule are gonna come beat you up and pillage your village.
We're not discriminating. All right, awesome. So we're good there. Sounds like police brutality, government brutality. How do we feel on that?
Expected.
That's an
Yeah,
expected.
honestly.
Expected, yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta
Absolutely
have
for it. ACAB.
Oh,
The
we're
villains need to be
brutalizing the
villains.
police? Then yes.
There will be
We
authority.
need to justify when we brutalize the police, and we can't just do it for no reason. We're not the police.
Well, actually, you all are becoming spellbinders. For all intents and purposes, you are the magical police. But there are also other authorities that may be overstepping their boundaries and doing something that you'll step in and be like, "Listen, show your badges. We're the magical police here. We override
You don't
your
have jurisdiction.
Okay, so that's So I'll involve scenarios that are in there of like kind of overthrowing government or like protecting against an authoritarian like state of some kind. We'll see, because Barreset, the Northern, is an authoritarian state, so we'll see how you all fare with that when you venture there eventually. Prostitution and sex trafficking. How do we feel on that?
I feel like
I fully support prostitution as long as it's done in a way that's respectful. Sex
Yeah.
trafficking, I am not down with.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like those two things are not the same at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Because like
Mhm.
sex
Like-
work is work, and I
Yes.
support the
Yeah.
workers.
Hell yeah.
But like being forced across borders,
Hell
no.
no.
Less.
I
Yeah.
like my sex work when my sex workers have agency and are celebrated for doing the healing that they do.
Yes.
Exactly. You will see that. So I'm really big on sex positivity. It's like really big thing that I stand for, and I will be putting in brothels and in places like not courtesan. What am I thinking? What I'm thinking? Is it courtesan? Am I saying it right? Yeah, courtesans.
Escorts,
Yeah,
whatever.
escorts and courtesans. Like they will be in there, but they are like well paid,
Respected
have
people.
Yeah.
respected, have health insurance. Well, to the level that this world has anyway.
Every brothel is worker owned in this universe.
Yeah.
They're all
Awesome.
everyone's a co-op. No one's the leader. They're all just like, yeah, we're here.
Like the courtesans from Firefly.
Firefly,
where
yeah.
They're like diplomats, they're socialites, they're respected, they're experts. But can I ask a clarifying question? Because I absolutely agree with you, Ben and Katie, that companions is what they're called. My husband's saying. I agree, but do you not want to see sex trafficking as a baddie at all, or relegate that only to a baddie? Because I could go either way. Like I don't really think it's going to be a plot point in this game, but like if it was, I would be okay with it, because then it's clear like they're the evil people we're fighting. Or is that like I don't want that to be a person we're fighting, just so that way Omar knows and we all, you know what I mean?
I think. I mean, so here's what I'll say. If you have something in mind already, where you're like, this is a thing that I want to be part of, like this villain's shtick, or maybe it's like a thing there's like part of like the systematic oppression of like some group of people, and like that's part of the way in which it is being done, and it's important, and you like want that to be part of the story, and the point is for us to deal with it, then I guess I'm more okay with it. But I feel like there are so many other ways in which you can distinguish like who is and isn't like good, that sex trafficking doesn't necessarily need to be one of those, doesn't need to be in that tool set, you know?
I also feel like there's really no way to have sex trafficking without sexual assault, and I have a hard line with SA, so I would just say no.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page. Like, I really don't even anticipate that even being a theme in this
Right,
one.
yeah.
But I just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that it was crystal clear because of how important that topic is.
Exactly, because I did want to sex trafficking. I never even planned on it; wasn't even on my head. I just thought it was a good thing that they put on this list to just review. But definitely, forms of prostitution will be in there because like it's another job just like anything else, and has its place. So we'll have that in there. So feel free to use the brothels and places like that as you wish. Or if you're just, I may or may not call it out that it's here, but you might be like, is there a brothel here? Where, because you might get information there. It's a good place. And I'll be like, yes, there is. And it will be explained as such. Alrighty. So here's a multi-layered topic here. And I'll after I hear yours, I'll give my lines veil for that. Racism. How do we feel about racism? Or in terms of in D&D, it's more like species. It will be species, but yes, in this world.
I have always felt like in a fantasy world where we can make any kind of anything we want, I have shied away from any kind of racism and has kind of like you can still deal with prejudices against people from like, you know, maybe even like what part of the continent they're from or what their job is or who their family is or that sort of thing. That being said, if it's something that you as the GM want to explore, I am perfectly okay with that. It's just not something that I will usually play around with in my games because it feels like it's so prevalent in the real world. Why do we need it here?
I was gonna say, as a white guy, I don't fuck with that because it's like, I don't think that's something that like is like a good thing for me to put into games. But I like if it is a choice that other folks want, or like as the DM, if you want to explore that, I think I'm in the same spot. Like that's your call. I don't make use of that in my games. I make use of like prejudices based on like historical tension between like countries or something where it's like, oh, you're from that country, and like we have this long-standing history of like our countries being at war with one another, sort of like the French and the English kind of deal, where it's just like they don't like each other for no particular reason. It's just like, well, we've always not liked each other, so I guess we just don't like each other. But it's based on like that as opposed to like, oh,
yeah, it's a bioessentialism thing that I don't fuck around with.
Got it. Anybody else have comments?
I trust you as a black creator to be able to navigate that space pretty well. I mean, much like me, you've been black your whole life, so you've got a pretty decent idea how some of this works. But I also think that it's a question of, are there some of those inherent prejudicial relationships in D&D, like prejudices about drow, untrustworthy things like that. Those things are kind of hard baked into the history of the platform, and I would trust you to navigate that. But I definitely think that it should be handled with care.
Got it.
Anybody? I think that for a fantasy world, I think of it slightly differently because, like you were saying, it's sort of baked into it, and if you steer away from it, we can respect and do that too. But if it also finds its way occasionally in, then that's something that I'm okay with, because especially if it's like an adverse, something that like a character has to go over, or a hurdle they have to go over. Like I don't want to specifically be like, well, they're like our slave people or this or that. Like that's gross and not right. But if it's like, the high elves look down on the wood elves or whatever, and that's like those sect of people carry on bad old traditions that the new modern world doesn't carry, then maybe we'll have to role play through those situations. Or like the shield dwarves versus the mountain dwarves versus the hill dwarves, like certain things where it's like, I look at it like, yes, it is a species, but it's also part of like a culture. So it's sort of weird because it's like a blended line, but I'm okay with sort of those tones feeding into a story that it's like adversity that we have to overcome or deal with in certain ways, but it's up to you to do it in a tactful way. And I feel like we're we are open enough to be able to say like, hold on, like pause, I'm not about this, or, you know, signal in some way if it becomes too close to a line or a veil. But I just want to say like, I'm okay with that in occasion.
Right.
Or that's my take.
Funny. Anyone else? Okay. So my take on it is, so I am not a fan of racism, and I feel like there are other problems that are way more prevalent than racism, speciesism in a fantasy world. That being said, there are some stereotypes that might be a little joke or something here or there in terms of it. Like, for all the drows are not like, oh, you're dry, you're untrustworthy. That's not really going to exist here. I can tell you that, something like that. But if you're an elf and you're talking to a dwarf, you might say, oh, such a dwarven thing to say. Like, there might be like a little quip here and there and all that stuff, and that's fine as long as it's done tastefully, tactfully, in that world. Or if you're just like, well, I'm just a silly dwarf, like, you know how we like our hammers and like stuff like that, I'm totally fine with. But we're not going to be discriminating against like any high discrimination due to any race or species in this campaign.
Yeah, it feels a lot more like the Legolas Gimli back and forth vibe about it, less like I'm gonna oppress you now. Like,
yes, exactly.
Right. That's a really good way to put it.
Exactly, 100%. Awesome. All right, moving right along. Religion and cults. I kind of feel some with the other one. I don't know how you can not have like a sort of TTRPG without some type of religious or cult group, but how are we feeling on that?
I have no religious trauma, so I'm good.
My religious trauma doesn't really hurt my feelings anymore.
Okay, great.
So, like, it's cool. Let's dismantle some religions.
Okay.
I'm about it.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah. I've been an atheist since I was a kid. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't have religious trauma and I don't have daddy issues. Those are the two claims to fame that I have.
Nice. All right, so I guess we're good there. I will definitely say, I'll just start with saying that I don't feel that this will not be prevalent or anything at all in the campaign, not even like a side quip or not, but sexism. There, in terms of both non-binary, male or female in this campaign, everybody's a leader. There's queens, kings. There are the headmistress, who is non-binary, is the leader of the Fractal Santorum. So they're all in there. So I don't, and no one's gonna be like, oh my god, this is a man or a woman or a trans person who's running the show. Like, there's not gonna be any of that. It's gonna be NBD and go on as normal. Is there any qualms or any issues you have, or something that you do want to tackle with sexism that I could bring in? Okay, awesome. So no sexism, and we're good there. Up next, so here's.
Or sorry, let me just add. I want to feel like that's like, I agree generally that we don't need to deal with that, and it should just be accepted like LGBT people in the community. But if it's like occasionally you want to use that as a thing to be like, there's the jerk, go get him, like there's the asshole, like sparingly though, you know what I mean? Like, I think that could be a good way to let us know as players and people in the game that like they're an asshole on so many levels. Here's one additional, here's another way, you know what I mean? Like,
right,
he's so evil he thinks that like your
exactly
sex or your gender actually matters in terms of your capability to like do your job or like whatever.
Right. I will say that there are cultures that are matriarchal, and maybe that, but it's not like something or matriarchal or something to that effect, or maybe have like shift in between as non-binary, and that's like because they're spirited, they have the energy of multiple genders that they might relate to, stuff like that. I'm not trying to give away too much, so that's why I'm trying to be very vague, but and that will be mentioned as more of like this is how this culture goes, and it's not shunned or anything. It just happens to be how they live, and everyone just accepts it. So that will be like, when it comes to like genderizing or anything like that, that's where it comes in. And if that, hopefully that's tactful and tasteful for everyone. But if any moment, including you chat, feel like that we're stepping live, something like that, I do say just, you can either do the X on the screen if it's like you're getting there, or type it in the various chats that we are in. Like, the players have their own private chat, and of course chat, you have your chat. So saying that, and I don't want to cross anyone's boundaries, and we can fade down. and stop doing that. But awesome. Slavery and human trafficking. Now, I think we already did sex trafficking, human trafficking. That's all going to be the same thing. So in terms of slavery, basically someone owning someone else. I have, for probably obvious reasons, I have my own gripes with slavery. I don't think I really will be showcasing this at all. Like servitude, maybe. Like you're a servant of someone that, or you're paid servitude or something like that. But there is no slavery. But I want to get everyone's ideas and thoughts on that.
I mean, the only instance I could think of where it might even come up is if there is someone who is like has taken over a kingdom, or he or she or they are like essentially like holding the population hostage in some type of way. But it wouldn't be slavery in the sense of like this race or this type of person is inferior, therefore there is like a structural systemic thing happening with making them into slaves. It would be more of like, this person is so evil, they've taken over a whole city and are making the whole city do their bidding.
Like more like blanket subjugation of a population than targeted
like slavery. Yeah,
I agree.
What about incarceration? Does that involve slavery?
I was gonna be like, do we have prisons? Because maybe we don't have prisons.
Or maybe we have nice prisons, like
maybe like we have like, you know,
like rehab centers.
Or maybe they freeze you in a crystal for like 40 years.
There's magical containment.
Like it's like the caging of bodies, which I'm morally opposed to, but it's not using them for labor, which I'm more morally opposed to.
Like in Superman, where they put them into the big
Phantom Zone.
The Phantom Zone.
Yes, that's the word.
The terrifying dimension of terror. Yes. I don't know about that.
No jail, but put them in the Phantom Zone where they get terrorized by ghosts.
Yeah,
I be bad about that.
I would like to say that I only wish to see any type of slavery depicted in our game if our purpose is as players to dismantle it and destroy it root and stem. I would want to see it as adversary, not as normal.
Yeah, as the norm.
Something that just exists.
Yeah, not something that's just like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about like fantasy, like into like the Oompa Loompas. I don't want to see Oompa Loompas. So thank you. I'd rather not.
It can't be
like
systemically unscalable. It has to be something we can affect.
Yeah, like it's just like some weirdo. And then we punch him real hard into the sun.
I'll definitely
so many times.
Yeah.
I'll definitely throw in a scene where if it looks that way, I'm like, and you see them grab a bag of gold and then continue on their way to their home.
This story is really going to turn off fans of slavery and racism.
That they have ample time to spend in, because the work-life balance here is great.
Great. Wonderful work-life balance. They have 3 days off a week. It's wonderful.
Hey, look, it's a fantasy world. We get to make choices like that where, you know, things aren't terrible and your employers don't just want to take over every living moment of your...
I mean, it might be some bad guys like that, but for the most part,
we'll kill them.
Yeah, you just kill them. All right, so slavery, we got that down, Pan. So mostly he's not going to be involved. If it is at all, it's a quest to stop it. Perfect.
Yeah, it's the children in the caves in Temple of Doom. It's the only time I'll allow it.
All right, so war, terrorism, and genocide. Those are kind of all three different things that they kind of put together. But in terms of how do we feel about war, I hope we're good, because there's definitely a war that's going to be happening at some point, possibly.
I mean, I'm not fine with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
War is bad. I'm okay to RP in a world that has it.
Yeah, can I just say I loved this Google form that was sent so much, because the scale was emoji faces. So next to like terrorism and war and genocide, it's like big smiley face.
Expect it.
Literally like the little like text faces. I'm gonna put them in the chat.
You're like, if it's not there, I'll be sad.
Oh, I love it. It's great. It was very funny to,
I was really
like go through.
To like hard agree with any of them, because I was like, I don't like any of these things.
Yeah,
like,
I think they're all interesting story beats. So I guess I'm gonna put the smiley face near
also,
it.
like, the terrorism is very much based on, you know, sort of like the dissemination of information, because you could very much argue that like the War for American Independence was terrorism.
Yeah.
You could also,
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
find
like,
terrorism, please.
yeah, because I
Yeah.
mean, like Western expansion in the United States, terrorism, but
And
not the way that we
genocide.
describe and genocide, but not
Yeah.
the way that we describe it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
so I think that those things are so very much based on, like, unfortunately, like who the winner is. That like I'm here for it because
Yeah.
we might, over the course of, like, I don't know, liberating the children in the Temple of Doom, the person in charge would absolutely describe us as terrorists, but
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So
All right. So it sounds like we're fine with war, terrorism, genocide in terms like of that happening in terms of a story. Some of us want
I
it.
guess my only
Yeah.
question about genocide is like it sort of goes back to that bioessentialism thing of like, what do you consider to be genocide? Like, is genocide mass murder of like a continent? Is genocide targeted killing of like a specific species? Because if it's the latter, I don't love
Yeah, exactly.
that.
It would be genocide for like if a monster comes and wipes out an entire continent, and, like, or like an entire like section, like the forests where the elves and the gnomes and live in, and like then they die, and it's like, well, that's genocide. You just killed the entire people.
Yeah.
So would that be okay to throw into the campaign?
Yes.
'Cause then you
Yes.
have to-
Yeah.
Like, Cultural genocide.
Yeah. Less.
for the
Like,
sake of cultural
in-game
genocide.
cultural genocide.
Yeah.
For the sake of, like, it's an entire, like, region being decimated rather than, oh, we're targeting these specific elves, these specific dwarves, these halflings, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But if it's something where it's like there's a targeted attack against a specific royal family, like that is targeted to like a family, which is fine to me. You know what I mean? I think it's just sort of like where those lines get drawn, which is a little bit murky, but I feel like you understand what we were saying,
Yeah.
Omar, and we're all like on the same page.
Yep.
Also, I saw someone asked in chat if there was a link to the Google Doc that
I was
you
gonna bring that
used.
up. Like the
good
form.
catch.
Yeah.
The public.
Yes.
I'll send that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you much. Sorry.
I'll put the link in there, and then you can copy and create your own version of it, and then share it and use it as.
It's a great tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just auto hooks right into your Google Docs. So I'll
Yeah.
post that in a moment.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Trev. And thank you so much for the question, Random Zero. All right. So I guess last on this section, and then we have one more quick section left, is xenophobia, which I think we've already answered this. So
Yeah.
we're fine. We don't have to go over it. Xenophobia, we are not okay with it, but only on certain aspects. And same thing with the racism and everything went over. Okay. So finally, and then this is going to be, I feel like we all are going to be okay with this, but there are some touchy subjects here that are definitely going to be involved into the campaign. So I want to make sure we get this understood. So illness, injury, and death. So this is, like I said, not a happy campaign. Lots of people. I will be tugging at all your heartstrings. I guarantee you that someone you love will die before we end this, if not already.
Omar, if I told you I had a hard line for death, would you kick me out of the campaign?
Like, oh, I'm sorry, you can't be here. Apologies.
It will be like I'll have to make it PG-13, and like they die, but they don't see it.
Yeah. No, I'm good with it. Don't worry.
But how are we on specific types of death, which I want to make sure I don't, because these are important because it could trigger something in you if it's like a memory you have. But deadly illnesses such as cancer or something like cancer-like, because cancer doesn't exist in this world, but it might be something else that exists that does the same thing. How do we feel about that?
Can I kill it?
Kill cancer?
Kill
Can
cancer?
I cure it?
I mean,
No,
like,
kill it.
Cure it?
you can totally
I
roll
mean-
pay for it. Maybe.
Okay.
You're an artificer. Maybe you can make a
Shrink.
concoction.
Shrink me down. Going in.
Magic school bus, cure cancer.
Oh my
goodness.
gosh.
Brutally murder all of the cancer cells.
This Ascent to the Darkness just turns into us working as a team of researchers to defeat the wasting disease. Just like,
just-
yeah, no, we gotta cure this.
Let's just play Pandemic together next time.
Okay, in all seriousness though, like a one shot where you get shrunk down and go into someone's body and fight the like cancerous cells would be so fun.
I'll
Can't
write
we
that
just have a
down.
normal field trip with the frizz? No way.
Bus, do your stuff. Oh man, I love Magic School Bus.
Oh.
Can I just say really quick? So the first episode of Magic School Bus was when they went out into space, and Ralph,
Ralphie.
Ralphie took off his helmet in space because he was mad and died. And I was like, I was
that-
so
wasn't it-
traumatized.
Wasn't that Arnold? Because
Arnold.
his cousin was being a jerk to him.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Arnold.
yeah.
Arnold.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, yeah,
Arnold.
yeah.
Yeah,
On
because
Pluto, they were on Pluto. And
Yes.
he was just like,
Yeah.
I've had enough. And I was like,
Haven't you seen that conspiracy theory where it's like an alien came back in place of Arnold, and Miss Frizzle is actually the grown-up version of the cousin, and there's like all these little Easter eggs in the episodes that like lead to that being true.
Oh my god.
That's
Oh my
wild.
God. I did
I'm here
not
for
know
it.
that.
Look it
I'm
up.
here for it.
this week on ATOD, we discuss the magic school bus.
the truth behind the magic school bus.
Forget to send to the void.
School
We're here to
bus.
talk about Miss Frizzle.
Why has she lost her teaching license after putting kids in danger? All right, so deadly illnesses we're good for. Perfect. Memory-related illnesses, anything like or anything like Alzheimer's disease or something like an older NPC may have, like that would touch at your heartstrings.
I might cry, but I'm okay with it.
Make me cry.
Good. That's my goal. If I failed as a DM, if I don't make you cry at the end of this
hey,
session 0.
You know I feel the same way, so let's do it.
It's end of session.
Wait, you want us to
Wait,
cry
what?
today?
Oh.
Oh no.
We'll see. You'll see.
We'll see.
We'll get
We'll
there.
see.
We'll get there.
Rehydrate. Come on, jeez.
What? What is going on?
Ooh.
Giving too much away.
I know I am. All right, but going on. I'm just so excited. All right. But that's mental illness and psychosis. As you all know, me also being neurodivergent, which and many of us here are in our community. I do like to touch upon things like mental illness and things like that. So you may have, especially someone who has post-traumatic stress, for instance, in there, like a wizard who has this, maybe shoots off spells that they shouldn't, and things like that to build them, and that will be like a person you interact with. If that's things like that, okay with you guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my only request is that things like that are handled with care
Yes.
and that they don't like lean into stereotypes, which I don't think you would. But like I know that like there's a lot of different stereotypes depending on what type of mental illness you're dealing with.
Yes.
And they're usually not accurate. So just being, aware of the reality of whatever it is that we're dealing with.
Yeah, always in the effort to like humanize these
Yes.
things,
Yes.
for lack of a better term. It's not to like make a show of, but to sort of like explore the facets of how everybody navigates the world, because everybody navigates the world differently, and we shouldn't avoid ones that maybe are a little
Yes.
more disquieting or uncomfortable just because they're disquieting or uncomfortable,
Exactly.
Also, you don't have to just humanize it. You could halflingize it,
Shut up.
Yes.
Get out of here.
Ben, I did say humanize and was like, I should go back and fix that, and I was like, but I want to get to the
All right,
the
I
meat,
got you. It's
and
all right.
then you got me,
I got you.
and I've been made a fool.
Aha. I've solved your... We can continue.
I will say that because I really wanted to make this campaign very accessible as well, so you'll find teachers who use sign language, I've been practicing, to communicate, and like, or wizards who will like be in a wheelchair or something, because I hate the whole thing like, oh, why can't they just magically fix it? Because no, there's no need to erase that identity. It exists, but then you'll see how they overcome that in magical, beautiful ways, and how it doesn't like define who they are. So things like that. But I will be very careful, and I always speak back to other people who live that life and try to get their opinion and make sure that I'm being as sensitive as possible, and also using my own neurodivergencies and mostly myself will be placed in there as well, because since I really understand it as well. So cool. That sounds great. Next, which will mobility related injuries and paralysis, which exactly like you will see a couple wizards who will be in type of chairs. Like there's an if you know me, and you know I have a huge tattoo on my back of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm a huge fan. There is a episode where they go to the Airbender, spoiler, they go to an Airbender temple, and one of the people who are living there, one of the kids, is in a wheelchair of sorts, but he's like gliding as if he's a airbender himself, and showing like just because he doesn't have use of his legs doesn't stop him from soaring through the skies. And they did it so well, and Aang treated it so well. At first Aang thought that it was like, oh my god, you're like fake airbending, and he realized everything and went through that, and I was like, that is an amazing scene. And you'll notice that a lot of my storytelling comes from how they wrote Avatar: Last Airbender, because even though it's an action show, it is mostly a drama show that shows the trauma and the drama of these kids and how they evolve. So as long as that's things like that is okay with you, we'll continue moving in that route.
100%.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Natural disasters. It's okay if I throw in some tornadoes that destroy cities. Is that okay? That could be
Yeah.
It could be a touchy subject because I know that I just want to make sure, but I'm hoping that it's not, because there are some. I mean, one of the key point of the story is a couple natural disaster things, so I just want to make sure.
Yeah, natural disasters are great because there's no like inherent malice to like an earthquake. Like, you know,
I mean, unless you're the, warlock or wizard or evil person casting the earthquake
True.
spell on a place.
oh yeah.
But actual natural, because then I guess it wouldn't be a natural disaster if someone manufactured it.
Tectonic plates just do, they're not thinking like,
Right.
how can I amass the most wealth possible,
Okay, now I need to know if in every fantasy world the structural makeup of the continents, do they all sit on tectonic plates? Are we looking at a world that is built the same way that our world is built?
Well, this
Zeki,
world.
now I'm looking at
You
you.
want to get into that right now?
I was like, I have a lot of thoughts,
I was
and
gonna say Zeki.
that's a different show.
Okay.
I will say that this world is built upon ley lines, which is like magical like tectonic plates, if you will. So as magic shifts, then you may be getting things like that in it. It's also a flat plane, but the science behind that, don't worry, it's magic. I'm sure some sciencey things won't make sense.
It is really
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh my god, is this a flat Earth show?
Are we flat Earth?
Yeah,
We're
you
flat
are.
earthers
You're
now.
flat earthers, but
Oh, God.
in terms of like the science of it, some things like that wouldn't make sense. It's magic. Just that's all you do. If I get something wrong, I'm not an amazing geologist like Zeki here, so I may fuck up something.
Is there an ice wall that encapsulates us all with a combined firmament above?
You'll have to find out. You guys are just only
Is
on
there
one of the
space?
three continents.
Is there fantasy space in this world?
Yes, there's fantasy space.
Okay, so it's not a true flat Earth. Then.
Yeah. Well, anyway, science. We'll see as we
Rachel's
go
like, I don't understand.
Well, I'm
Zeki,
just
why do
trying
you
to
know so
think
much
of,
about the
like-
flat Earth theory?
No, I listen, sometimes you just gotta learn what people are saying and have a good giggle and just be like, you can't. So yeah, no. But I'm just like, now, are there planets in space? Are we just is everything flat?
Just frisbees. Everywhere.
Are we just frisbees in space? Do we write on anything? I'm thinking Terry Pratchett's Discworld shit.
That'll be something you have to
I thought
explore.
this world.
Okay, I'm going to the ice wall.
All right,
in
guys.
the firmament. Let's go.
We build a spaceship and we go someplace else.
DM,
Derail.
question for
To
you.
study the
Are we
wasting
allowed to-
disease.
Yeah, are we allowed to use previous campaign knowledge?
Well, I would. Yeah, you can, but it's been thousands of years since then, so things have changed through space and time.
I only asked because in our previous campaign, the world itself was a toroid shape.
Yes, that world has blown up. But and
Okay,
that's where
fair
I'm ending it. When we're done there, because all that you can find out through Easter eggs and doing history checks as you read and see how the world shaped. That is a significant thought. Yes.
That's why I wanted to ask, just because anybody could go back and listen. So I just wanted to
If
check.
you wish to know, we talk about this is campaign 2. You can check out everything campaign 1 at AtaleD20s.com. You can find, or on any of those podcast
services, Spotify, Apple, YouTube. We're on all of them.
Yeah, it's we'll explain all that. But the world has much changed. You don't even need to actually, but you should check it out. But you don't need to in order to find out what's happening here. Just little Easter eggs. Alrighty, so moving on, we only got a couple left. How are we feeling on physical abuse? What are the limits of physical abuse?
I mean, murder is a form of physical abuse, and we said yes to that. So,
It's a fair point.
that's just when physical abuse levels up.
I think I have similar thoughts to this as I do to racism, which is essentially handle it carefully. I trust you as a storyteller and as a person who has a good sense of how to sort of tread carefully around things that are sort of inherently awful, right? So that's where I fall on it, I guess.
Got it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I trust you to use it in appropriate places for the story elements. you know, you said it's a dark campaign. Sometimes there needs to be dark elements for us to overcome or help people, or if it happens to us, you know, we can share those hard moments with our allies, but it needs to be used and done in an appropriate fashion. And I think that we're all on the same page when it comes to sort of how that needs to be levied, and trust you as a DM to sort of guide us through that in an appropriate way.
Yeah, I will attack someone immediately if I see someone like abusing like a child.
Oh,
or a
I thought you were about to
spouse
say, I will be the person.
No.
I was like,
I will.
what?
I was like, wow, okay.
I will up the level of abuse, but I will direct it at the abuser.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you've given us someone to cast dissonant
cast
whispers
spells
at.
at, yes.
Cool. We're gonna kick that guy in the ass.
Yeah.
Fun.
Like,
Yeah, that's how I sort of meant it too. Like, it's another one of those, here's the dickhead, go get them.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, notice. Sounds like we're all good there. Next up, I will say this one, I don't really think it's going to be a thing, but prefer, as we mentioned before, pregnancy/childbirth complications. I 100% no. I don't want to do that. Like, I know Game of Thrones sometimes throws that in there, or and all that stuff, and I'm like, it's fine for the HBO show. I don't think I personally can narrate through complications through childbirth.
Yeah, let's just stay away from it.
Yeah,
I don't
if
think any of
there's-
us really want to touch it. So
If there's a character that, like, in passing, they died in childbirth and that gets mentioned,
Yeah.
fine. I don't necessarily want to hear about it in real time.
Can we just live in a world where babies are born and it's fine, and they're fine, and babies are fine? We figure, like, maybe in the past somebody did, but like at this point we figured it out.
We got magic. Just boop.
We got magic, and it's just like, cool. We love it. Good
Alright.
job, team. All the babies, they get to happen.
So we are. Or I was just say wombs are invulnerable.
it's true.
We just did it because it's like that's kind of the saddest thing
Dilation.
that I could think. Like, that happening is like especially sad, and it's like, hey, let's do other sad things. All babies, they're fine. Every baby gets born, and it's great.
You gotta oops all babies.
Got it. So we're fine there of me cutting that out. Perfect.
hey, Bab, all babies are born.
But
All
some
babies are born.
but some babies grow up to be really bad people. At what point are we okay with the babies not being okay anymore?
Well, I think we established
Once
when
they
they're
become of
children.
age and they are no longer children,
Yeah.
then we can kill them and it's fine.
So
Yeah.
the day they turn 18, murder is on the table.
Yes.
All right.
Cool.
So
or whatever fancy being maturation. Like,
Maturation. That's
well,
fair.
the moment that you should and can be held accountable for your shitty behaviors, and you can't look to like a caregiver or parent to be like, could you work on that? That's the moment it's like,
It's like,
okay, cool.
Once the
Dagger in your
magical-
eye.
Frontal cortex completely
Yes.
developed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boom. There it is.
awesome. So we are good on that. So then how about, and this is something that may or may not be prevalent, and I would treat it with being careful, psychological abuse, such as a bad guy who is, or a bad person, I should say, is like tormenting an NPC, and like it's psychological abuse, like whisper. I mean, sometimes gods or in our patrons psychologically abuse the people who they are, who they're commanding or are underneath them. Sort of like taunting or things like that, or it's like you'll go to nothing. Are we fine with that, or how do we want to tread when it comes to psychological abuse?
I think it's like expected for this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like part of like the overcoming and part of, you know, deep storytelling and role playing, especially like in this theme. I feel like it's appropriate, and it's again one of those we trust you to do it tactfully.
Perfect. All right.
And also, we will then run headlong at that person who is doing the abuse.
Got it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm mostly here, like a lot of things are okay as long as they are the object of like the end of your fist and or sword and or magical blast. Perfect. All right. How about self-harm and suicide? How do we feel about introducing that into the campaign?
Tactfully, I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like
Uh,
all of this, it's like if you do it right,
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, if you do it right, maybe like a lot of like off-screen, like for some, like we don't need to necessarily be like directly describing the way someone is attempting to
Yeah.
take their own life or something like that. But if it's like something where we are trying to get through to that person and like help them or whatever, I feel like that is definitely something we can play with.
I mean, I also think if we're already tackling mental illness, like self-harm is kind of
Mhm.
not always
Mhm.
intrinsically linked to mental illness, but can be depending on what types of mental illness we are talking about. So again, like handle with care, but I'm okay with it.
Awesome.
Also, like if there's self-harm magic, I think I could be okay with that.
Yeah, like like they like
Fair
blood magic,
point.
they stab themselves and try to get
Mm.
I was gonna say like blood hunters are a great
Yeah.
example of that.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we're good with that as well. So to handle tactfully. So this is a no from my part 100%, but I'll mention again just so we have it on stream that we discussed it as well. Sexual assault and trauma. We're like no on that one. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, every baby that comes into this world comes in with
Full
the
bodily
intent
autonomy.
of being loved and cared for and completely born. If that's what the bearer wants, by the way. That's important.
Yes.
Yes. Everything will be, I mean, obviously you don't want to die or therefore be like kidnapped and turn evil, but everything on that level will be consensual. We're not gonna have any rape or anything like that at all in this campaign.
Perfect.
All right. So, are we okay with starvation, drowning, those types of death? That's okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
then finally, how are
I'm okay with it, but you know.
yeah. We're not. No, yeah. Everyone should eat, and
I
everyone should have
actually
fear.
prefer it. Please
Right.
drown me immediately.
And finally, to wrap us up, how do we feel on torture?
Yeah.
I kind of expect
Yeah.
it in this campaign,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right.
But tasteful. Fade to black if it becomes gory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
as long as it's like torturous within the guidelines we've established for all of our
Yeah.
other things.
Like you guys might roll a perception check and you'll hear the sounds of like someone of like a sword slashing or whip crashing or some type of form of torture. And you hear like a scream. That's probably be like the limit of it. So you know they're being tortured, so you know to run in there. But I'm not going to be like.
I feel like the discussion around physical abuse sort of like encompasses torture, where it's like, you know, we're gonna go do something about it probably.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, again, if we can rectify the situation.
I will
Ideally.
say though, we do have. I'm not going to say anything to spoil things, but there's some sort of like built-in stuff already. I don't know, Adam. I'm looking at you. So
Oh, like sexy torture.
well, I mean, there's also sexy. I wouldn't even.
I mean, I'm definitely
yeah.
good with sexy torture.
Oh yeah, we're all good
10 on
with sex
sexy torture.
positivity.
Yeah.
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 Bring all
As
the
long
kinks.
as everyone consents.
Yes, as long as you consent, bring
If
all the
it's
kinks.
consensual torture.
Like, never mind.
Oh,
All right.
I was just saying,
Oh.
you know. No.
Now we gotta know.
yeah.
I was just gonna make like a very stereotypical marriage joke, you know, like consensual torture.
Oh.
Sticking yourself with somebody else for the rest of your life, like,
It
on
is torture.
purpose.
Can confirm.
Oh, boomer hoomer.
I was like, bad boomer joke.
Mike TV says, "Sexy torture, Lady Gaga's new album."
I'm here for
I'm
it.
here for it. I'll listen to it. I'll buy it.
Get your claws up, put them in my bag.
Dig it in there. Alrighty, so that wraps up our lines and veils. I'm so glad we were able to go through that. We were able to discuss our limits and what we want and discuss what's going to be brought in the campaign. This will help me build a better campaign and a better experience for you and our viewers as well. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much for going through that and presenting this and your candor to everyone live on the stream.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Bearing our souls before we bear our souls.
Yeah.
Really good.
So-
and I think like this was actually a really good discussion because I feel like a lot of us were on the same page already. But, you know, for some of that more questionable gray area, this was like a really, really good way to kind of, you know, in a safe, you know, conducive space for everybody to like talk about like, well, maybe we shouldn't like, you know, do X, Y, or Z. So thank you, Omar, for running that. And Travis, I think you came up with this form. So you knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I
100
didn't
out of
make it. I
100.
found it. So thank
Oh,
you.
okay.
Still.
Got it.
Thank you to the original creator of it. I'll find out and link it, but we put it in chat so you can grab your own copy of it. But this was the most
Yeah.
comprehensive one that I found that I felt also was easy for players and people to fill out and use. So I'm glad to share and disseminate it and make sure everyone knows to use it for their session zeros, as this is important topics. And, you know, every game has a different feel and theme, and, you know, it's better to be on the same page. So I agree with everything they said, and thanks, Omar, for walking us through it and giving us the space to sort of discuss our limits and wants and expectations.
Oh, fantastic. Amazing. Thanks so much. So, I guess with that all done, that all being said and done, all we have to do now is just go over a little bit of the world. You'll mention your characters and your classes, and then we'll spend like about estimated 10 to 15 minutes per person just getting them to the actual start of the campaign. So, are we all set and ready to hop into this?
Traumatize me, Daddy.
Nice.
Let's do it.
Chat, you guys ready?
Ready?
All right.
Oh, I'm not fat.
That's fine.
I was like, wait, hold on.
All right. So let's. One thing I forgot to load was the actual intro, but we'll load the intro on episode 1. But instead, we'll just dive right into the small little brief synopsis on the world of Adramel, specifically in Greymoor, and what to expect from this campaign. So, as you all know, this is a Fantasy Ground Runs campaign. At times, which we don't need to do so today, you will see that to the bottom right, or left, depending on how it looks for you guys, that there is a little rolling tray that's there, so you can see all the rolls from the players down there. Eventually, we will have full-on maps that will be available, where we'll be seeing the battle in full force. But let us begin. So, this campaign is not for the faint of heart. Evil lurks around every corner. Danger can be seen within every nook and cranny. So, if you wish to leave now, please do so. But by staying, you submit yourself to the dark, grueling world of Adramel. So, without further ado, let's remove the bookmark and begin our epic tale. Welcome, everyone, to the land of Greymoor, a world of magic and mystery within the plane of Adramel. There are 3 continents, including Greymoor. There's Ark Igbriel, which lies far off to the east, and to the south, there is the Sundered, a dark continent where many don't know what lurks within its borders. But let's take a quick look at each of the realms that you will be exploring in this world. So, there are 5 different realms that exist within the continent of Greymoor. There is the Southern Pentad, as they are called, the Pentad for the 5. The southern one, known as Lumaria. It is a realm with heavy snowfall and long nights. It is situated in the south of Greymoor and is characterized by its rolling hills and vast icy tundras. It is led by the richest and most influential oligarchs of Adramel. Lumaria is a hub for technological innovation and arcane control in the form of manamancy. This realm is known as the Realm of Lights, and its inhabitants strive to bring the world of Greymore to tomorrow. At the center lies the realm known as Enderwin, known as the heart of Greymore. This realm is rich in tradition and boasts a diverse landscape, from verdant hills and valleys to rugged mountain ranges and sprawling forests. Enderwin is a hub of commerce and is often the host for the leaders of the Pentads, serving as a mediator for the rest of the realms. Enderwin is ruled by Queen Araneth Isadora Elvana. She's a regal and noble leader whose name reflects her illustrious heritage. Going up, the northern Pentad of Baraset. It is a realm with the hottest temperatures on the continent. It is a vast desert landscape characterized by its sun-baked sands and arid climate. Its people are known for their materialistic nature, and Baraset is ruled by the Paragon, the strongest and brightest in all things warfare. It boasts the mightiest of armies in all of Greymore and is known as the Sword of the North. Shifting over, we have to the west, the land of the Shadow Fae, known as Ilda Elver. It is a realm with a prismatic array of colorful forests juxtaposed with desolate swamps and jungles. Its climate is the most erratic, with snowstorms and warm breezes, droughts and never-ending rain. Ilda Elver is led by the Cloak and the Dagger, whose identities are shrouded in secrecy. And finally, the fifth and the oldest of the Pentad, Corinth, located on the eastern shores of Greymore. It is the most magical realm. It's a society built upon a mageocracy, where the erudite and magically gifted excel and live to defend the mundane. Corinth is home to the most powerful magicians and mage slayers within the five realms, and is led by the pontifex and their senate. It is also called the Arcane Capital. So, with our setting laid out, we are going to shift things. Lightning cracks as you all stand on a shore of a large river. Looking around you, the sky is completely covered with a gray overcast. Rain, thick and cold, falls from the skies, going down your back, sending a chill, but your focus is on the elegant, elaborate boat, this almost like the size of a canoe in front of you. There are flowers and books, papers, and all other items as this black canoe is decorated with golden filigree and elvish, draconic, and celestial writing all around its perimeter. Lightning cracks once again as you turn to your left and turn to your right and see hundreds upon hundreds of spectators, gnomes, elves, dwarves, tieflings, all species that exist within Adramel, within Greymore, are here to pay their respects. As you all look on over, not sure if the liquid falling from your allies' faces are tears or rain, a wizard with a long beard, peach skin, and long blue robes steps up in front of the canoe that's tied to a plank as it's floating on this kind of foggy, this foggy long river. As he goes to open his mouth, you know the words that are going to come out, and the pain is too strong for you all to bear as you look at a fallen loved one in front of you. And as all the other spellcasters from the Fractal Centaurum surround in like a U shape on the shore from this canoe, they raise up their hands as the speaker begins to float up about 5 feet, touching a long finger to his neck. His voice begins to boom as he speaks. But what brought upon this funeral, it seemed? What could have happened to create this scene? We're going to roll back the clock ever so slightly. We're rewinding. As I will now call upon one of you. So, it is dark, cold. A frost-like rime grows on the edges of the metallic apparatus that you hold in your hand. There's this forest. There's light that glimmers ever so slightly, granting some sort of vision if you can't see within the darkness. Tired, hurt, Ireland. You have been trekking in these woods for what seems to be weeks now. Your friend and mentor, Gomery, this brilliant Aarakocra with a bright tunic, but ruffled feathers, with green and blue feathers that are usually brilliant and shimmering, now dull within the confines of this cold, dark forest. His wingspan is nearly twice his height, as he stands about 5'7", and he has piercing yellow eyes that are sharp and intelligent, always scanning the horizon. He pulls you behind a tree, poking his head over to the left, and then looking at you again. I think we're safe now. Grab some rest, eat some food. We leave at first light. As Ira...
Again?
Oh, go ahead.
Again? First light? Alright.
The afflicted are near. We have to get you to the meeting place to get to the Fractal Centaurum. It's what she would have wanted. It's what she asked for.
Stop talking about her like she's not here. I'm gonna find her.
That's not for you to worry about, Ira. I'll find her. You just need to make sure you get good grades. Learn, grow, and then meet me back here as a true spellbinder.
Why can't I just come with you? I can learn on the road. It'll be fine.
You're strong. You're smart. I have all the confidence in you, but I would be a fool to rid you of this experience that will help you grow. He walks up to you, Ira, and grabbing on your chest as his hand grasps the cog wheel that hangs off of your neck. You were given an opportunity. Take it.
Feels like I'm running away again.
You're not running away. You're running to something. Something greater than you. And you'll be back. Look here. And he pulls out a mirror in his pocket, showing you a reflection of yourself. Describe to me what you see in that reflection, Ira.
Irolan Amberfoot is halfling, late teens. He's got long hair, sort of pulled back, bedraggled at this point. Dirty, probably twigs and a couple leaves sticking out. He's dressed in plain traveling clothes. He's got a shock of white from one of his temples from when he was a kid. Bit of an accident, but it's fine now. Cogwheel necklace around my neck. Supposedly it's important, but it's just a gear. Everyone keeps talking about it like it means something, but I don't know about all that. Got a toolkit, sort of various pockets around my waist. I don't wear shoes. I don't need to. Grew up walking around, working on the farm with bare feet, so I'm just fine pretty much everywhere. For how young Ira is, his face looks kind of old. I think that's something that's really happened in the last few months. Looks kind of weather beaten at this point. Dirty. Tired. Very tired.
All right. He points it to you and says, Ira, this is you. This is your future. Look at yourself. And he puts it down. Have confidence. I know you will excel at the Fractal Centaurum, and then you can come join us. I will find Shalandra. Don't you worry. And together, we'll smile at the man that you become. At the Archon I know you can be.
I want to be an Archon. I just want to get her back.
And we will. We will. I promise. Now go get some shut-eye. I'll stay up and watch.
All night?
All
Again?
night. Yeah, don't worry. I mean, I may be a little on the old side, but I still got a few tricks. Don't you worry, Ira.
All right. But if you change your mind, I'll take a watch. You know I will.
I know. I know you can. Sleep tight.
Sort of throw down, like my bedroll and curl up, trying to preserve as much warmth as I can.
All right. You see Gomery go and unpack a couple things. He kind of retracts his large multicolored wings before slipping in between tight corridors within this forest. Every so often you see his eyes shift left and right with like avian precision as he tries to focus on any sounds that happen to echo throughout this enchanted enclave. Eventually you do see him rest and take out his bedroll and start to place it down as he doesn't lay down in it, just gets it there before once again releasing his wings, flapping them and flying high up to the trees, the canopy completely blocking any stars that you would be able to see as you fall asleep. Roll me, Ira. Roll me a perception check at disadvantage, please, as you were sleeping.
Boy, howdy. It's an 8.
An 8. Okay. Ira, you hear suddenly a perching, like almost like a hawk cawing, coming from the top of the canopy. As you hear, "Ah! Wake up, Ira! Wake up! Wake up! We have to go now!"
What's going on?
Afflicted, they're here. Get up! Come on!
Fuck.
Forget the things. We need to go. As he kind of just leaves everything, he goes to pick you up, pulling you, leaving any belongings down, like any of the bags, or it's not bags, any like the rolling bed rolls and things like that down. The fire has already been put out. As he goes ahead and is holding on to you and is running through the forest. With your 8, you can't quite hear it, but you can see his head shifting as like. You think you hear a faint sound of a rah, rah, and not sure where it's coming from, but it seems like he does as he's continuing to run through the forest.
As we're running, I'd like to just quickly like grab literally any non-magical item on the ground and tinker with it, just like as we're going, to have it emit a little bit of light. And then throw it behind me to try and attract some attention.
All right, great. Go ahead and grab him from your pocket, a little trinket. Using your artificer ability, you cast upon like a shining light and toss it back. Go ahead and roll for me. I would say you can roll. Yeah, actually, you can roll me an Arcana check.
Okay.
Add upon this to see if your magic is enough for them to be distracted.
Well, that's actually pretty good. 23.
23. Okay.
18 on the die.
Casting this upon on the item you grab, you toss it back, and there is a shining, glimmering light that illuminates the dark forest. In that moment, as you turn around, you see 2 very lanky, tall, thin figures that are shrouded in shadows. They look to be a combination of like a vine-like entity, but that's dripping with a black ichor. As they look at you with these shining yellow eyes, as they jump upon the actual light source that you place. They jump down, and then you can see the afflicted are chasing you. As you look back, your eyes dart from left to right, and then just with the added illumination from your spell, or from your ability, you can see there are several other afflicted making their way. Now you can start to hear them trunching through the forest, crashing and stepping upon rocks and twigs as they're quickly shifting. As you hear Gom go, "Faster! Ira, we have to go faster!"
I'll just run.
All right, so you're running and running faster and faster, dodging between the landscape of trees that are still hard to see. Do you have dark vision?
It
would be on your main page, under above your AC.
I do not. No. I thought I did, but I don't.
So you're solely relying on the guidance of Gom as he's just pulling you through this maze of a forest. "I think there's a clearing up ahead. We have to hurry. We have to!" And he stops immediately, pushing his hand on your chest, halting you as you are cut off by 3 afflicted. And he turns around. 3 more come around you, and there's just barely any place for you to escape. As he goes, "Ira, draw your weapon." Shing, as he pulls out what looks to be a thin rapier.
I draw my pistol and I cock it.
Alrighty. There's no initiative on this part. It's kind of like a free out of combat event, as it seems like he's protecting you, Gom, from that. And he quickly goes ahead, looking at all of them. He spins his blade around in a circle that creates a illumination, like illuminated light for a moment, and you see these strange magical symbols encompass the border of this circle. When he finally completes it with his rapier pointed straight up, he begins humming a tune. As he does, it's a sultry sound, a sound that puts you at ease slightly. But as he does this, and he hits the highest note, it almost like a dog whistle. You see all of the infected, at least the ones in front of you, the three in front of you, begin to buckle over. As the sounds of his dissonant whispers seems to be affecting them, and they begin to run away. But you turn around and you see that the other ones are not affected by this, but you can take an attack if you wish.
I would love to, yeah. Absolutely fire my pistol at one of them.
All right, go ahead and roll me an attack, please.
Right. Boy, oh boy. It's an 8.
All right, you're still tired. It's not only cold at this time. Oh no, well you're from the south, which is very cold, but just a combination of all these elements alone, and the sheer fear from the afflicted that have been chasing you for weeks now, being in front of you. Unfortunately, your shot goes awry, blasted, though it does echo throughout this entire forest, where you hear all the woodland creatures scurry, and you hear almost in response as more afflicted seem to be making their way throughout the forest. He turns around, Gom, and says, "Come this way," while they're distracted, and he just kind of pulls you and starts running forward throughout the forest.
Absolutely follow. Yeah.
It is definitely difficult terrain as he's trying to help you, using his wings to kind of jump up. He's not really strong per se. You know him. Although he is a bard and a master at the limerick, as well as the sword, his strength lies in his dexterity. But nonetheless, he does try to kind of lift you up because you are light. You are a small creature, and flap his wings a little bit to jump over many of the hurdles. But I'm going to need you at advantage to roll me an athletics or acrobatics check, as you are being helped by him.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go with acrobatics and not take the -1 that comes with athletics. Alrighty. Okay. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Very nice. As he briefly picks you up and puts you back down, you don't miss a beat. You are running with him in that same motion, jumping and hurtling, and your small stature helps you as you are nimble, dodging in between the rocks and the trees that are in your way. And very good so, because you notice that the afflicted are popping up from all corners and just barely missing you with that 20, as they are, and you see Gom just like, come on. He turns around again and continues to, while in motion, speak another spell that blasts the afflicted that are getting too close back with a force-like intensity as they fall on their backs. Come on! Ira, we're almost there! Don't look back!
I'm running with him. As we go, I want to cast guidance on Gom.
Okay.
Oh.
So you go ahead, casting your guidance that aids his abilities. He is enveloped with a beautiful light for a moment from your... actually, since you are an artificer, explain to me, how do you cast your spells?
I've got this belt of all these little knickknacks and tools and doodads and things that just kind of come in handy, and I think in this particular moment, I think I have one of Gom's feathers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I pull it out and I kind of rub it between my fingers, and it sort of like almost begins to disintegrate, and then I just like, and the dust that's left over from what was the feather sort of like settles on his shoulders, and that's how I cast guidance on him in this moment.
Beautifully, as it falls on his shoulders and all that, he feels that energy as he looks back at you. Thanks. And he continues to go, and that will count that in all of his next moves that he wishes to do as he continues to run you through this forest. All right, we gotta drink water and posture check, everybody.
As I have to slouch with tension. Oh my god.
But finally, as you're running, and with the aid of your guidance and having Gom at the lead, you finally burst out of the trees and can see that the sun is barely rising off of the horizon. It is early morning at this point, so providing some sorts of illumination as you escape and you are brought out to a never-ending field, like a savanna, with mountains decorating the outskirts of your vision, as you see the sun just piercing up over them. There are wetlands and large, you can see like the ground itself seems to be slightly oversaturated, all characteristics of the realm of Corinth. Finally, you know that you're nearby or close to your destination as you turn back, hoping to see that the forest keeps the strange, afflicted, undead-like creatures at bay. But as you run out there and Gom is continuing to pull you, Ira, you turn around and they're just kind of 28 days later, zombie style, running after you into the open. And now you see that there is not just 1, 2, or 3. There's about 30 afflicted running their way at you, even more than what Gom can handle at his high level. Eventually, but you do have a good, let's say, minute ahead of them through your acrobatics. Eventually, as Gom reaches kind of about a few hundred feet, and you guys are exhausted because you're running full dashing into the savannah, he stops and turns around and looks up and looks to his left and looks to his right. He looks on over to you. Ira, you need to live. You need to go.
No, don't do this.
He puts his hand on your shoulder. Ira. You are the best of us. Shalandra trained you. We nurtured you. Your story does not end here. He goes into his pocket and pulls out what seems to be a long silver whistle and blows on it. You don't hear anything. And after he finishes, he turns around and you just see this zombie swarm starting to make their way to you. After about a moment, you hear the flapping of wings. As you look up, you see a large worm, not quite a dragon, but like a wyvern of sorts, flying down. It's gray, like almost like alabaster or stone coloring, with jagged spikes going down the spine and large wings as it lands doof, doof, onto the ground next to you, causing a little bit of the wind to pick up and blow in your hair. Get on. Now.
You gotta come with me. I can't.
Get on, Ira! Now!
I can't lose both of you. You can't do this to me.
He goes ahead and starts moving his hands and swirling it around as you feel like the winds pick up beneath your feet. Go ahead and roll me a strength save, please.
Okey-doke. 9.
9. You were blasted back, thrown directly on the saddle. As you notice, there is a saddle on this wyvern that roars after the impact of your body onto it. He continues to move his hands around as a mage hand appears out and starts to wrap you and tie you, latching you onto the saddle of this creature as he walks up to it and says, Dormo, my friend, he's all that matters. Take him to the Fractal Centaurum. And Dormo says, in more of a sad tone, as he goes, I know, buddy. I'll be fine. Now go. He looks up at you one last time, Ira, as you look back at him, it's like kind of strapped in, restrained on this wyvern. Kick ass. I know you can.
Goodbye, Gom.
Yep! He hits it. As the wyvern begins to fly up higher and higher in the air. As you look back, well, let me say, do you look back as it's flying in the air?
I can't look away. It's my friend.
You turn around and look at the mentor who took you from your home, the second mentor, as you see a wave of these creatures going up, and Gom goes, well, I didn't think I would have such a great audience. I might as well put on a show, as he snaps his fingers and he casts Major Image as a large stage appears around him and a ethereal band appears. He then whips out his viola, taking it out, placing it on his chin, and he goes, I call this one Curtain Call. As he goes ahead and plucks a string on the viola and then begins using the stem to start to operate it, play it, as a strange cacophony of anguish sounds seems to eject from the instrument. When he does so, the afflicted around him begin to wail, and he just continues to playing profusely, moving around, and you see just like after images of him appearing as he's just moving around and playing this solemn song of sadness and pain. But it doesn't seem, even though it, like, you see many of them are poofing, turning into dust, as afflicted do once they have been completely obliterated. But more and more are coming as they're piling over each other, stepping up as there's a wave, like an afflicted wave that comes up and crashes directly on the stage, completely encompassing the Aarakocra, as he is no more, well, at least you can't see him anymore, and you disappear into the clouds, unable to gleam exactly what happened to the fate of your mentor. As you fly off, a tear in your eye, heading up as you can barely see in the edge of your distance, as the sun begins to rise, a floating island above you.
I'm going to maintain concentration on the guidance spell until I feel like there isn't a target or I'm out of range.
Okay. You can feel it. Eventually you do get out of range as it clicks, and you're not sure if it's the range or his life that ended. As you continue on to the Fractal Centaurum above. It's hot. The sun is beating down profusely upon the trail of embers, with a water skin almost depleted and sweat dripping down from the brow. Ink, we come to you. You are currently traveling, trying to make your way to Corinth, to the Fractal Centaurum. It was your quest to not only go there that the quest has been given to you, more so you also have to travel there amongst your own means. You were given provisions, 50 gold pieces, rations, and water, but your people have their wishes and their love all within you as they send you off with all of that. But the desert of Baraset is hot and arduous, and it saps every moment just more and more of your strength. As you go to take a last sip from your water skin, it is unfortunately empty. Quickly roll me a perception check.
Sure, will do. Oh wait, no! Don't do it with your real math rocks. Do it in the thing. I was just ready.
I forgot that too, and I was like, math rats,
Yeah.
let's go.
Quite all right.
Perception. Boom. For the audience.
Very nice. A 17. So
17.
you blink for a moment as nothing but just a drop comes out that like incinerates, or to say evaporates in the air before it touches your tongue. As you kind of look around, is that? You look at your map. Maybe so. One of the very few oases that exist in Baraset. It's not. You're hoping that it's not an illusion, a mirage, but running over there, indeed, you can feel the cool air from the water, the palm trees, and like a sort of respite within the hazardous domain of the Baraset desert. Running on over to the water source, you look down and see a reflection of yourself. How do you look, Ink?
Well, Ink looks down into the water and sees a gray tabaxi with bright teal eyes, dressed in traversing gear. So definitely not dressed as pictured in our little graphics flying by, like head wrapped, trying to stay as like cool in this desert as possible. Ink's clan knows how to survive these harsh conditions. So definitely like taking a look, making sure that everything is still in place, and then Ink fills their water skin.
All right. You easily fill up your water skin, drinking as much water as you need, as this oasis seems to be safe and sound. No issues around with your 17. After you finish replenishing your provisions, you look around, and according to your map, you're close. You're close to the edge, the border between Baraset and Corinth. But even so, it's still a little bit of journey from where you were given to find the mentor that you're supposed to be meeting up with to take you to the Fractal Centaurum. But you do see, not too far in the distance, a small little town, the town of Ascension. Perhaps here you can gather any more provisions that you're missing, rest for a few moments, or maybe even find a caravan or some place to help you get there, if you so choose. If not, you can continue heading on foot, but you do know it will be an exhausting journey.
Ink would like to go to the little town. It's never a bad choice to like see if you can re-up your supplies.
Of course. So Ink, leaving this oasis and entering back into this sand landscape with dunes and you see little creatures, scorpion-like creatures and bug-like creatures like scarabs and things that couldn't exist within this environment, around scurrying inside of the sand, trying to keep themselves cool as you continue to go for about another half of a mile. before seeing a sign that's been knocked into the sand itself, keeping itself upright, says The Ascension. Making your way, you now see this town. The town is not very small. It's like an outpost. There's about 7 buildings, no more than a story high. They look more like huts, if you will, draped with burlap sap-like tents on them, though there is one building that is bigger than the rest, one that's 2 stories and looks to be made out of wood and some stone. Stretches across probably about 30 feet, as well as the sign known as the Final Bastion is atop of this. And from what you know of Barriset, this is kind of the last town before entering in Corinth, and an area where people can go for jobs or caravans or anything what have you, just to get themselves prepared to continue the journey. Is there any particular place you can want to go? There are stores, and there's the tavern, which is like the information hub that I just mentioned.
How are we doing on rations?
Ooh, you're not doing well.
I should go get rations first. So I'd like to enter whatever sort of like commissary or food stand there is to get, more like hard bread and cheeses. Got
it. You enter in one small little tent as you pull back the fabric, entering inside. It's cooler in here, so like reasonably so, as if it could be magically affected or some kind, like an air condition of sorts. As you step inside, it's circular shaped and it's dimly lit. There's a counter with a wall behind it full of little knickknacks, as well as, you see, to your happiness, food, water, and other types of provisions. As standing behind it and looking up at you is a small little blue creature, a lizard-like creature with a long tail, probably standing about 3 feet tall, in like a similar traveler's cloak that would be found in this desert. As he turns to you, "Oh, welcome, welcome. How can I be of service? What can I do for you?" As you recognize this as a kobold.
Oh, greetings and salutations. I would like to restock my my ration supplies. I'm headed to the Fractal Centaurum, and it's been quite a journey so far.
Oh, the Fractal Centaurum. I've heard of such a place. Isn't that the citadel that existed in Corinth?
Yes, it's quite far from here.
Oh, did you get accepted? Are you going to be a spellbinder?
It is my hope, indeed.
Oh, well then, I would love to help a future spellbinder. What are you looking for?
Just food for the journey. I refilled my water skin at the oasis, so I'm good. Are there any particular local delicacies you would recommend here in your store?
Oh, yes. We have the best yak cheese you've ever tried. It just has a certain tang to it that can only be found here at the Ascension.
I shall take half a pound, please.
Oh, yes. Will only cost you 1 silver piece.
Beautiful. I make the exchange. It just loading up on the rest, the important staples, but like we don't have to shop forever.
Yeah, of course.
But when Ink does leave, they are like putting the yak cheese on some bread and eating it as they're walking out and sort of like looking around and like, delightful. This is delicious. Thank you, kind kobold. And then they make their way to the tavern for any information or a caravan or, help getting around.
Got it. You have a good one. As you
Thank you.
You leave and step out, and there's some people here. There are people there. A lot of people seem to keep to themselves. They look at you, giving you a nod as you pass away. There is a fountain in the middle of this town. Let's say the small outpost, but the fountain is dried. and it's been since dried as you go across and make your way into the 2-story building known as the Last Bastion. As you open up the doors, cling, ling, 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 you step inside and you can see that half of the room is kind of like a restaurant with several wooden tables and chairs, a bar that's at the far end, as well as a staircase that leads up to the next floor. When you do, stepping forward, you see that there is a human woman garbed in more like cloaky, say similar clothing to yourself, as she walks up to you with bright eyes. Hello, welcome to the Last Bastion. How can I be of service? Are you looking for anything particular, or are you trying to have a meal or a bar?
Oh, greetings and salutations. I was hoping to inquire if there were any caravans heading out in the next a day, few hours, headed south toward Interwin.
Any caravans heading south? Well, let me find out. She then looks on over towards like the small crowd of people who are in the restaurant area and goes, "Hey! Any caravans heading to the south? This kind person here needs some assistance. Any one of y'all got a caravan?" As she yells this out, no one seems to answer until about a few moments later. A dapper-looking gentleman, small, gnome size, wearing a button-up shirt and a very bright and vibrant blue vest and matching slacks, kind of scurries up and says, I actually am. We are looking for someone. Well, let me just make sure this kind of fits your wheelhouse. We are a traveling troupe, and unfortunately, we lost one of our performers along the way. We don't need much. If you can kind of just don't mind stopping off at a few places along the way, and can maybe do some juggling or whatever thing you can do that can please an audience, we would be happy for your assistance.
Oh, well, I do happen to know some songs of my clan. And then Ink pulls forward a lute and sort of like plays like the opening riff of like the first song they learned, which is like a lullaby, you know? And it's just like, will this serve?
Roll me a performance check, please.
I will. Not with my real dice. Literally looking right at it. I'm doing great. Performance, please.
Well, that was a perception.
Oh, shit. Well, just kidding. Full of... Oh, this hand. Okay. Get
Okay. 11. Not bad. You go ahead and play the song, but you are tired from this long trip, so it's not to the abilities that you know you can as they listen in as you play this tune. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. That's good enough. How about you? And then, before he's able to finish, you see this large dragonborn carrying what looks to be a flute. On like a long flute on his left shoulder, stepping up and says, and kind of like steps in front of you very rudely because he's very tall and massive. As he goes, I am a traveling bard, and I couldn't help it overhearing you need a performer. Look, that was mediocre at best. If you want a real performer in your troupe, you should invite me. And like immediately.
Well, if I may, A flute is very good for a melody, but a lute does provide much needed rhythm. Might we could learn to play together?
The gnome goes, well, we only have enough space. One more. All right, how about this? Why don't we just have a little performance off? Let's see with one who can perform their act better, and whoever we prefer will take on the job. I think that's fair, wouldn't you? Oh, I like that one. And he looks over at you.
Well, it never hurts to submit yourself. It's the worst. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Ah, that's a great way to think about it. Oh, all right. So, actually, I didn't catch your names. What was your name, my friend, furred friend?
Oh, my name is Ink. Short for fresh ink on parchment.
Oh, cute. Oh, yeah. Well, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Ink. And you, my tall friend here. What is your name? Garrix. Garrix, the entertainer. Well then, Garrix, Ink. There just so happens to be a stage here. Let's see how you perform in front of a crowd, because that always makes a difference, and these fine people here are in need of a jubilant performance, don't you say? And then all the about 20 people in here are just like, yeah, we could use a show. Well then, it sounds like a habit. So, who would like to go first? Step on the stage and make your performance.
Oh, please, Garrix, by all means. You have such acumen for the flute. You should give a chance to show your stuff. You know, first place, correct?
Fine. I will go first. And he goes and steps on the stage, trampling on there. He looks on over and at the crowd after stepping on. As everyone goes silent for a moment, he goes, "This is a lullaby told to me from my youth. I hope you enjoy it." And he begins to play. So I'm going to roll for him a performance check. Ooh, well. The performance is something that's left to be leaves much to be desired. As he begins playing it, it's like, dude. Not that I'm hating on the flute, anyone, but sometimes the flute is really annoying when not played to the pinnacle of perfection. And this is one of those times where he just starts to play the flute, and it's like sour note, and you being a bard yourself, you're in tune to like the notes even more so, and you're just it's rough. But the smile on his face doesn't show that as he finishes his performance and says, "I hope you all enjoyed." And he looks over at you after stepping off the stage. "Beat that, Ink."
I'll certainly do my darndest.
All right. So you can step on the stage when ready and perform and describe whatever your performance that you're doing, and you can roll me a performance check.
Yeah. So, since the lullaby was not my best back there, and this lullaby was not great, I'm gonna pick it up a notch and play a jaunty little drinking song. That the elders taught me, which they probably shouldn't have. Something about a young miss near the oasis. You know, kind of off color. The elders probably wouldn't be pleased to hear me play it, but there's some good little goofs and guffaws in it. You know. And I will roll that performance check.
Awesome.
While I stall for time. No. 6.
Okay. So, the nerves got you, Ink, as you also perform as well your song. But maybe this song isn't exactly to the liking of the audience. But you definitely see they're enjoying your performance much better than they're enjoying Garrick's. As you are modifier, even though you both rolled about the same number, but your modifier was just higher than his. As you have performed your song, better than what he did. As you finish up, the audience kind of looks okay, and they give you there's a little bit of a clap, to more of an appreciation than they showed for the Dragonborn, as you both step on back to the gnome gentleman, who goes, "Well, that was quite the performance from the two of you, but I am so sorry, Garrix. I believe Ink was slightly better, and no offense, she's slightly less intimidating. He's intimidating as well. So we're going to, after much thought, go with Ink."
I thank you so much for the opportunity. I will say I have my own rations and I do not require anything except for companionship. I'm happy to pick up a part of the watch if that is needed. I don't particularly see why anyone should be left behind.
Roll me a persuasion check.
Okie dokie. $17.
17. Garrix looks at you with like, what angle are they getting here? Where are they getting at? As the gnome looks at the both of you and says, you know what? If you have your own rations and things, I think we can probably squeeze in one more. Might be a little uncomfortable, but with the two of you, maybe that will really push our show off the edge.
Yes, that would be lovely. Garrick here is more attuned to performance than I am. I am but a diplomat. Oration is my speciality. But I will be happy to contribute as equally as any other member of your caravan. And then like extends like a little beamed paw at the gnome for a handshake.
The gnome goes ahead and grabs your hand and says, you can call me Adamus.
Adamus, a pleasure.
Yeah. So, is that work for you, Gromix?
Yes. And thank you, Ink, for standing up for me. I greatly appreciate it.
Of course, all I ask in return is if you would teach me the song that you played up on the stage today. And maybe any more that you might know. It is good to share our music, isn't it?
He gives you a firm clasp on the shoulder and looks at you with a very toothy grin of a dragon kind.
Yeah, I would love to. So, when do we leave?
Well, I just got to gather the rest of my team. There's her right there, them right there, and him right there. Yep. And with the 6 of us in total, let's just hop on the back of my caravan and make our way. We'll be performing at several stops along the way and the villages, trying to earn some coin. Of course, we'll split the coin evenly. And then dropping you off at whatever destination along the way that you wish. So, you gather the rest of your things after some time with this merry troop in their caravan. The caravan is located outside that gets pulled up with one horse, and it's like a traditional caravan. There's like a buggy on the back with a tarp above, enough to fit a couple people in the front, and the rest of you tightly in the back as you go and meet the elven gentleman, the Genasi woman, and the other halfling that they travel with. And the Adamus goes, "Let's go, yeah!" as he cracks the reins and continues to make his way with the rest of you out onto the desert towards Corinth. As you, throughout the course of the next few weeks, perform brilliantly at all these different shows, doing diplomatic speeches. As a diplomat, you probably would also curb some aggressions that may have come up with people on the road with your gift, with your silver tongue, and until finally reaching the section of Corinth that you need to. The caravan says, Adamus goes, well, this is where you are headed off, right? The Fractal Centaurum, that's amazing.
Yes, it is an honor to have been selected to be sent here. It is a great responsibility that I bear, but these weeks spent with your troop have been some of the most lovely, and I am incredibly grateful for your generosity and your teachings, both musically and as an entertainer. I will miss you dearly, and I will look for you when you come this way again.
Thank you.
Well, have a safe travels.
And you as well, and may the sun shine upon you as you journey the lands.
Oh, may shine upon you as well, as Gromix and the troop wave you a hearty farewell as you step off, making your way to the inner, according to your map, the inner region of Corinth, the wetlands. Eventually, after traveling for about an hour on foot, you see a cloaked figure standing there with a pocket watch in their hands. As they look up over, they put it away. You could see underneath the cloak that's covering them a very fiery red hair as they step up towards you and says, "Ink, is that you?"
Indeed. Greetings.
Is this the form that you have chosen?
Yes, it seemed the most approachable.
Very well. As you know, our people have a very important task upon the lands of Greymore to perform. And yours is one of the most important. I will guide you as much as I can on the Fractal Centaurum, but remember, our presence as what we are is to remain secret. You understand?
I understand completely.
Gather as much information as you can. Learn. I will reveal myself to you, and so you know the form that I choose up there. But do not ruffle any feathers, but keep a sharp eye out. Understood, Ink?
Yes, I selected Tabaxi eyes for their sharpness.
Excellent choice. Now, he pulls out from his cloak a whistle and blows on it, and is an inaudible sound. Oh, you and your Tabaxi form might hear it a little bit, with keen-like hearing, as a green wyvern lands down, large, with emerald-like shellings that reflects and shimmers off the sun as it lands. Doosh, doosh. Now, ride this worm up to the Fractal Centaurum. There you will have orientation and join your proper curricula. Good luck, Ink.
Thank you. I will do honor to our clan. And then Ink hops on the wyvern.
Okay.
I do that.
You hop on the wyvern, onto the saddle. He helps strap you in as he slaps the back of it as you're... and it flies up, getting higher and higher as the clouds part and a large island can be seen floating above.
In spite of themselves, Ink is humming the song that Garrick's taught them on the journey.
Awesome. Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, what you've all been waiting for, a show that will amaze the masses. Prepare, for you will see the brilliant arts of pyromancy as a story will be wheeled by our very own Verisath. So, hold on. Prepare yourselves for a very illuminating performance as we shift the scene to the interior of a large big top in a circus of sorts, as bleachers go up about 5 stories, as is filled with hundreds of spectators. Standing inside the middle of the ring, there is a gentleman with a red vest, a whip in his hand, and silver slacks. He has a thick mustache and looks to be human, probably in his mid-30s, as he begins to swirl his hands around as fire appears in almost like a fireball shape that he then cracks his whip, and it breaks apart, turning into a large dragon, breathing fire in a beautiful spectacle as the audience oohs and ahs.
there is an opening about 60 feet to the left of this ring, and if you keep continuing down this corridor, it shifts more into what looks to be like a back room. As we turn to the left and open up the door, inside there are several members of this circus troupe, practicing and stretching and performing, but sitting in front of a mirror, preparing for their up-and-coming performance. We have a pistol-wielding a woman who prepares like all of her belongings and things for what's to come as Andrina. What do we see as you look inside of the mirror?
Yeah, so looking in the mirror, I see a relatively tall, very pretty, elvish woman. She has long reddish brown hair, green eyes, a smattering of freckles across her nose. She is wearing a blue top hat and blue thigh-high boots, and around her waist there is a pistol holder complete with two pistols, one of which looks a little bit more worn out than the other. And the one that is slightly more worn out is also a bit more ornate. And that is the one that I am currently holding in my hand and polishing and loading up with the specific types of ammunition that we use in the circus. They're a little bit safer, a little bit more magically coated, so that if anything happens, if something goes awry, nobody's going to be getting hurt.
Okay. And you can hear the sounds of cheering and oohing and awing not too far away as a goblin, walks up to you wearing a suit and says, Andrina, I think V's warmed up the crowd for you. Are you ready to put on a good show?
I'm always ready to put on a good show.
Oh, excellent. All right. Well, do you make your final preparations and prepare? Because you're on in 5.
I don't need to do anything else. I'm quite ready.
The door opens up, and stepping forward you see is an older woman, but she's dressed in very, I wouldn't say regal, but outdoorsy adventuring clothing, performance clothing, carrying a satchel to her left, an elven woman with long hair as she has spectacles on her eyes as she fixes slightly, walking up to you, Andrina, as you recognize your aunt, Melinda, who goes, Andrina, my, have you grown. Every day you remind me of your mother.
It's just so weird to me that you say this to me every day. You see me every day.
I know. And every day you just grow and grow and grow and... just...
Okay. That's nice. I never know how to... Because it just... I've been living with you for how... I'm me. I'm myself. I'm not my mother. I am an adult now. I don't want to be compared to her. I understand that you guys have your things and that maybe you're trying to work out some weird sister thing with me as her child, but can I just be myself for once?
Fair enough. I do dote much, I will admit. It's just that, I mean, over these almost 100 years, I just... The world is dangerous and dark out there. And I just want to appreciate it.
You say that, and I've been with you for nearly 100 years, and I've yet to see anything particularly dark or dangerous.
Well, we elves all long-lived, so trust me. There, at the Fractal Centaurum, you will see quite your fair share of darkness, as well as light.
If you say so.
But I can't hold you any longer. The crowd is waiting. You are the climax of our show. Perform the amazing stunts I know you can out there and break a leg, will you, Drina?
I always do. And with that, I kind of brush past her and I head out towards the arena.
Alrighty. Everyone kind of just gives you break legs and smiles and claps as you step out there, hearing the announcer goes, "And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. She will amaze you with her precision, her acrobatics, and her gunslinging prowess. Put your hands together for the one, the only, Andrina!"
I walk out into the center of the ring, and I bow in all 4 cardinal directions, and I prepare to begin my set.
Alrighty, you step out on the stage as everything goes silent. The spotlight shines on you as you look up, looking at the dark faces of the crowds around you. So you don't have, since you are a gunslinger, you don't have to use a performance check. Instead, go ahead and just roll me a dexterity check with your proficiency bonus. So it basically like a normal attack you would do with your pistols.
Okay, great. 1 second. Let me figure out where that is. Where is my pistols?
Should be probably below in your actions tab.
Oh my goodness. Oh, there it is. Whew. Okay, I can read. It's fine. Here we go. Well, could have been better, for sure. That's gonna be a 11.
An 11, okay.
Yes.
Now, I'll give it. Did it roll outside of the box? It didn't pop up.
It did, yeah.
So
I put it in the box, but I
We'll
can.
We'll call that canted and allow you to roll again. Might get higher.
That's better. That's a dirty 20.
Alrighty. All right, that was canted. It didn't count. But this.
Nice.
So, Andrina, in front of you as targets and all sorts of strange magical lights, like in the shape of all different beasts that exist within the world of Adramel, appear, and you quickly, with a gentle grace, begin to fire at them with pinpoint precision. Please describe to me, how do you attack these targets and show off your acrobatics / gunslinging skills?
Yeah, I start off with just, standing straight on and kind of shooting normally, but as the performance progresses, I do a couple shots behind my back, a couple under my legs, and then I start doing full-blown acrobatics. I'm doing cartwheels and doing like bullseye shots at the climax or the apex of the cartwheel. I am doing backflips and shooting midair. I am using some magical assistance from some of the other circus performers to be blown up into the air and sort of do almost like a flying kick leap type thing. And I think that by the end, I am fully suspended and just cartwheeling through the air and just shooting like... it feels like it should be an automatic pistol. It is a manual pistol, and it is just like pew 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 pew.
Nice, I love it. So you're just performing this aerial acrobatics with your gun, almost like a scene out of Wanted, as you bend bullets, twist them, shoot them, and blow
Very
up.
Matrixy.
You do the Matrix like. You just see all sorts of maneuvers that the audience.
There is one small section where I shoot at something that is reflective, so I'm shooting and then also dodging the bullets as they come back at me.
Nice. Bouncing, the bullets bounce back, you dodge, and the audience like, oh, ooh. As at the end of your performance, after destroying all the targets, the crowd roars and stands up on their feet, clapping for standing ovation for a few minutes as you sit there. Roses are thrown down onto the circus grounds or the ring as you take a bow and hear the jubilation and exuberance of the audience to your performance as the announcer goes, "Once again, the amazing Andrina! Don't forget to find us along the path as we make our way all across of Greymore. For more information, please see the ticket booth. Thank you, and that is our show." as...
I-
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I take a big bow, and then I do start sort of covertly scooping up whatever little trinkets and things have been thrown down into the arena, as I'm sure they have been.
Yes. All right. So as you grab the things and everyone begins to leave the arena, leaving you alone, you head back to the dressing area, where everyone kind of meets at the end of the show. Your Melinda steps up to you, giving you she stands there leaning on her back, just giving you a clap as you walk in. Well, 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 you never cease to amaze me, Andrina.
I'm very, very good at shooting things, yes.
Oh, yes, I see that. And that will actually prove to be very fortuitous for you when you enter the Fractal Sanctorum. We're almost there, you know.
I know. You have been counting down the days every single day. I don't think I could forget if I tried.
Just 2 more days on the road.
I know. 2 more days on the road.
But it should be quite exciting. What are you looking most forward to?
Well, I think I'm most looking forward to finding a group of people like you have that I can travel with and go on adventures with and just have fun with, you know?
Yes, you will find your own circle, I'm sure. But remember, your circle is your trust, is your lifeblood. Everyone in your circle is a part of you, Andrina. So
I know.
Don't take it lightly.
I don't take it lightly. I just think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that it will be, to be honest. Your parents can be a little stuck up and set in their ways, but you're a smart girl. Don't you worry anything about Cloyphus and Lumaria. Go out there and be the amazing Martialis that I know you will be.
I am quite sure I will be. Truly, I understand that you are trying to give me confidence, but I'm very confident, Melly. I don't need it from you. I have it all in here.
Yes. Sometimes I forget how strong you truly are. Well, let's get some grub and head off. 2 days!
2 days!
And so you head off after that amazing performance. As you make your way out of the tent on the campgrounds, and you know that they literally pick up the entire circus and move it along. A lot of the people who are hanging on are just giving you accolades and getting your autograph. Like, I have your autograph, ma'am.
Oh my gosh, of course. I would love to.
As you sign it and continue, eat a delicious communal meal with your family, your now chosen family, and fall asleep comfortably as you wake up and continue traveling on as the circus continues for the next couple days before finally arriving to the wetlands of Corinth, where you're just kind of like in the middle of nowhere, nothing but a beautiful scenery around you and the sun high in the sky. Your aunt walks up to you, surrounded by all the other members of the troupe. Well, here we are.
Here we are.
I knew this was happening. I mean, yes, you're right. I remind you every day, but now that it's here, I don't want it to come.
You were the one that wanted this for me, Melly. I mean, I did, obviously, I want it for myself too, but you're the one that brought me here.
Yes, I know. Just sentimental. All right. Remember, being your best behavior. Look out for your cousin Zendark. He does live on the Fractal Sanctorum. He could be a guide to help you if you need it, but you don't need it. You are strong and independent. But it doesn't have to have a helping hand.
Don't need it. I'm sure that I will say hello to him, and then we will go our separate ways. I don't need family. I don't need anyone.
Andrina, while it is great to have that sort of confidence in yourself, relying on others is not a weakness. That's the whole point of being in a circle.
If you say so.
Good luck. And if you need anything, I am only a sending stone away. If you need to, just reach out to anyone at the Fractal Centaurum. They have my number. And she gives you a wink.
I will see you on every holiday, and I will write you, and
Oh, yes.
it's not as if I'm going away for forever.
I know. Well, the longer I keep you, the harder it will be to let you go. So, and she pulls out of her pocket a long whistle and takes a blow into it. As moments later, a pink, almost rose quartz crystal worm appears, lands next to you.
Oh, it's so cute.
This is Jezerine, my own personal wyvern, who will take you up there. Eventually, you'll earn your own, but you have to prove yourself at the Fractal to get your own wyvern. But I'm excited to see who you bond with.
I will keep you appraised of all the important details.
All right, hop on.
I honestly just like kind of box jump up, because I'm so dexterous. I just hop up onto the back and land perfectly squarely into the saddle. Don't roll your eyes at me. I'm not very strong. All I have going for me is my dexterity.
All right. So you hop on in beautifully and elegantly, strapping yourself in as you hear, "Get it!" as she slaps the back of the worm, and it flies up. You look back, seeing your troop that you've been traveling for all these years just turn into ants as it becomes smaller and smaller, and passing through the clouds, the large floating island of the Isle of Eternity presents itself. Alrighty.
Right before I kind of disappear over the horizon, I do look back over my shoulder to just get one more glimpse of my Aunt Melinda before she disappears.
All right. You catch that glimpse before she disappears into the cloud with nothing but the school in sight. Alrighty. It's cold and dank inside of the Half-Light Order. Seems to be empty. This citadel, this like guild, dungeon-like hall with tiled stone floorings and a ceiling that goes up about 30 feet. Torches hang on the walls as they illuminate the interior. Passing by several doors until finally reaching their destination. Sully. Inside the Half-Light Order, every morning, a ritual is performed between you and the Needle, the leader of the Half-Light Order. To prove yourself and keep yourself on your toes, you have to surprise her. And so, in doing so, to prove your worth, you are steadily sneaking along as you peek around the corner and notice a halfling woman standing there reading papers. And you recognize this as your sister. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check, please.
With a 5, I seem to stumble a bit as I try to press my body against the door that's slightly ajar.
You press your door and you just hear, "Eh." And you are scared for a moment, thinking that you were caught. Sarah turns around, not looking at you, just towards the side of this 15 by 15 room, towards the desk. Doesn't seem to have noticed as she continues to look through paperwork. As you step forward and forward, trying to
surprise her. You take one step as you hear, "Nice try, little brother. But you're going to have to be stealthier than that to sneak up on the needle." As she turns around and you see another a halfling standing for you, not much taller than you, if at all, actually. She looks to be in her mid-30s. She has gray hair. There's some gray streaks in her natural black hair, some scars that show her experience in the field of assassination upon her face and her arms, as she's wearing like a black cloak with almost like with leather armor around her body.
Well, I tried to get past you, but I guess this time just wasn't enough. I think my failure was trying to come at you from the door.
Yes. There are quite a bit of. There's windows here and here. Don't forget about the air duct up there.
I tried the windows last week, and the air ducts. You put extra locks on them, and I couldn't break them.
Yeah. Well then, looks like, little brother, you have much to learn. But I have faith in you.
I'm gonna get there. I will surprise you.
One day. Well, I have a meeting with a representative of the Cloak and the Dagger today, and you have a training session with Baratheon. Do you not?
Really? Again? Come on, when are you going to give me more responsibilities? More of these why can't I be a part of these meetings? As you see this 3'6" halfling in this like dark red, almost maroon leather armor. You see 3 sets of eyes. That's not a mistake. As I have been, cursed one way or another, to be determined, TBD. But you also see these tiefling horns coming out of my head, curling around like a ram. As a tiefling, as like how do we want to put that, Omar? Like a demonically touched?
Yeah, it's like a
halfling,
like a devil touched, if you will.
Devil touched halfling stands before another halfling. You see, there is a small amounts of as scarred up as his sister is. Sully remains mostly unscarred. There are some small nicks along his knuckles, but what catches your attention is the keyhole-shaped tattoo on his neck underneath his chin. I really don't want to go to training. Are you going to make me do this? Everyone thinks it's such a joke.
Yes, we need to train, little brother. That's the only way. I mean, I did hear you coming even before you stepped forth into this corridor. You need to learn the art of the shadows, of stealth. Once you master that, then we'll see about you being dealt in with more serious matters of the Half-Light Order. For now, just keep to your studies.
Fine. I'll go. And then I'd like to go and then put myself down the hall into the next room, sort of throwing my steps in the opposite direction if I can, do like some sort of audible misdirection. Because I want to follow my sister. I don't want to go to this actual training.
Okay, all right. Go ahead and roll me a combination of a deception and a stealth check, please.
Okay. Oh, so close to a 19 with that one. Oh, I'm rolling so poorly. Am I going to have to change my dice color already?
So an 11 for deception and an 8 for stealth. So you do so, as well as you think you do anyway.
Thanks.
Before heading to the other room and throwing off your, making the sound and sneaking out as you see your sister walk out of the room with papers, continuing down the corridor. as you do, you follow close behind as she begins to turn another corner. And you quickly follow, and she turns another corner, and you follow as well. Before landing directly in front of you, you kind of bash into what looks to be a elven gentleman, but like he has gray skin and long ears, wearing a long robe of black and brown. He has a toothy smile as he grins, looking at you, his hands covered within the sleeves of his cloak. Ah, a pleasure meeting you here, Mr. Oberto. And you recognize this as, You recognize this as Kellant. Kellant, who not too long ago, you received a parchment with instructions from the Cloak and Dagger. Instructions you very remember, as he looks over at you and says, Mr. Oberto, I hope you are preparing yourselves for the endeavor that the Cloak and Dagger has bestowed upon you. And he kind of whispers as he says this into your ear.
Yes, I'm preparing myself. Why did you come here?
To check upon you, of course, to make sure you didn't forget the accord you had with the exalted Cloak and Dagger.
It's not something I could easily forget.
Good. You remember you're doing this all for your sister, Sarah.
Always. And you better leave her alone.
Well, that depends on what you provide to the Cloak and the Dagger.
I will do what you ask. Consider it done. I'm leaving shortly, okay? Just leave her alone. Leave us alone.
And all of a sudden you hear, Representative! As your sister walks up from around another corner. I didn't see you arrived. And chatting with one of our initiates, are you? Do you happen to be discussing? Oh, nothing at all, my dear Needle. I'm actually just saying how amazing it is to the family business to continue along with your brother. Isn't that right, Mr. Oberto?
Yep. Nothing of note, sis. Everything's A-okay.
Roll me a deception check, please.
That's a 13.
Okay. Well, Representative, shall we continue? We were discussing about our expansion orders in Enderwin. Yes. I would like to definitely discuss that, as the Cloak and Dagger has plans. As you know, we don't work for the Cloak and Dagger anymore. Right, I know. But they do have some concerns that I wish to discuss with you, as a representative, of course. Come, let's talk then. And, Sully, go to training.
Fine. And I huff off.
All right. They walk away and continue chatting inaudibly as you kind of make your way to training and continue amongst the day. At any moment, so you know that your journey should begin within the next day or so. So, as
I have been preparing, and I actually, kind of in secret, have gotten my bags ready to go. I'm traveling extremely light, but I have my prepared documentation, as well as whatever, I had 2 extra sets of clothes, because it's always kind of been travel light. You never know where your bed's going to be. and I take all of this into consideration as like the day kind of winds down from my training, kind of, putting the pressure on myself to leave from my family and my friends.
All right. So the day goes on to the evening as you prepare all of your items. The Needle, the leader of the Half-Light Order, this order of assassins, if you will. She's constantly on mission, so she can't keep tabs on you as much as she was like. But in order for you to sneak out, it's an easy job because she is always busy. And so you leave the facility after gathering your things and make your cross-country trek for several weeks, all the way to Corinth, which is on the other side of Greymore. The journey itself is peaceful, not much trouble you find along the way. As you eventually see the mountains that separate Corinth from from Greater Greymore, and make your way through it after these weeks have passed, until finally arriving to that landscape, this time as the sun is beginning to set. As you look around, you see a figure in a cloak, all black, standing in the middle of the field. As you approach them, they turn their head towards you. Still, it's almost like it's magically shrouded, as they look over to you and say, "The exchange has been made. Go now and know, young Oberto, that we will be watching. The Shadowfell always watches."
You better be watching. And when I'm done with this, we're done. You leave us alone.
We will see if you're able to complete the task. Many try and can claim that it can take a life. But we'll see if you have the stomach to do so and prove yourself in the eyes of the Cloak and the Dagger. As the figure takes out a whistle, blows it as a black onyx wyvern lands down right next to you. Go. I believe the orientation will be happening soon.
Just be ready to hear the news. I'll be here when it's done. And I get onto the Onyx Drake, or Wormling, and fly off.
All right. And you fly off, making your way high up in the sky, leaving the ground behind you as we make your way to the Fractal Centaurum. And because we are pressed for time and we started a little bit late today, although we have 2 more to cover, we're going to cover the final 2 players next week when we start our first session. So apologies that we did not get to you, Adam and Travis, but I promise you we will start immediately with yours, because I know that we are a lot of bit over time, and I do apologize for that. But
It's okay. We had to learn Fantasy Grounds today too, so that took some of the time as well.
Yes, we did.
We're not gonna be doing that every week, so
Exactly.
no worries.
We would get that hour back and have enough time to finish. But
I expect a tutorial every week.
I'll do one for you any day.
Oh, you.
Oh.
just a private tutorial between Travis and Ben.
Oh my.
But
I feel like we're gonna have to fade to black for that.
That is what we agreed upon.
I consent.
Inventory.
But that is a wrap on our session 0. Like I said, we'll start immediately off on session 1 with I'll let you know Adam's character first. We're going to be getting into that. And actually works best that way because specifically you two do have something I want to make sure we get in there. And I want to make sure we give it the time it does deserve. And then we're just going to hop into this magical world. We go to magic school, y'all.
Woo!
I was a little sparse on the explanation of the campaign in terms of the narrative, which I will do, and you'll see the map of Greymore and everything as I introduce us on episode 1, because I really wanted to make sure we got into this. But I hope you guys had a great time.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm
So much
super
fun.
excited for this world.
Awesome.
It's cool. You just, like, let other people have, like, fun performances and then killed one of my friends. It's fine.
You don't know he's dead.
No, hold your
I
friend
got to
first.
perform. It was wonderful. I did great.
I watched my last remaining friend probably die.
I bought cheese.
That was fantastic.
But before we wrap up, let's go ahead and reintroduce everyone and just let us know where you're from and what you do. We're going to start up and go clockwise from Katie. So Katie, let us all know all about you.
I am Katie. I am on all of the social medias as at Katie Mera. Wow, I can't spell my name. KATIEMEHERA. We are also over at twitch.tv/amateurish productions or at amateurish prod on Twitter and I think Instagram. Don't quote me on that. And we do TTRPG and interviews and just generally get up to shenanigans. So join us over there. Our core campaign is on Tuesday nights, and a couple familiar faces, actually many familiar, more than 50% familiar faces over on Amateurish Productions. So come join us.
Awesome. Yep, you will catch us over there. It's an amazing time on Tuesdays. So next up, we have our director, founder of ATOD, Zeki. So going on circle. So a little bit about you and anything you want to announce.
I am Zektown. You can find me on all the socials with that handle. Well, you can find me here on Sundays and every other Wednesday, and some Mondays with Travis's Radiant Citadel campaign. But Tuesday we have Mitra as our main campaign over at Amateurish Productions, where I am also a co-founder. I liked, being on these channel creator admin level things so much, I wanted to do it twice. So I got my hands in all kinds of pies, and I make sure that those are the slices I eat, because otherwise it's gross.
That feels like a fade to black.
Yeah, stop contaminating the pie, Zeki. Jesus.
But pretty much as long as you follow me on Twitter, that's where you can probably find my schedule Monday through Sunday. So that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Zeki. Adam, anything you wish to share about yourself or anything you're doing?
Hey, I'm Adam. He, him, his. That's my biz. Based in Philadelphia with my partner and our amazing orange cat. And like I mentioned, I'm one half of the duo, the Pun Brothers, putting out new verbal-based comedy every Monday at the Pun Brothers on TikTok. I love Dungeons & Dragons. I love role-playing, and I'm happy to be a part of such an amazing product with such an amazing group of role players, storytellers, and just creative thinkers.
Awesome. Thanks, Adam.
Awesome.
And we're going right along. Rachel, tell us about yourself.
Oh gosh, yes. Hello, I'm Rachel again. Please find me on the tubes here every Sunday with Amateurish Productions on Tuesdays. I have podcasts. I have my own Twitch stream. I'm learning to become a pro wrestler. So if you want to keep up on all of the wild shit I do, follow me at I am Rachel Quirky, the name I've been chatting at y'all with. This one. Thank you, Omar, for this.
Oh, no.
World that's going to make us cry. Has already made us cry.
Awesome. And next up, we have the myth, the man, legend, Ben, who I hope I made you cry.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh, we're going for this? Okay, I'm committing. I'm thinking of a friend, and I'm going to now imagine that I am watching them die.
Oh my
Let's
god, I
do
need
it.
to know who this person was, but we can talk about that.
It was Gum. I was thinking about Gum. I just got into the character.
I thought
Yeah.
you said you were a picture. Okay, I understand.
No,
Never mind. Go on.
I was no longer I shuffled off this mortal coil, and I was a halfling who was watching one of my two friends die. You can find me also at Amateurish Productions at all the various places that Katie mentioned. Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And then if you want to find me personally, you can find me at Ben_M_squared everywhere. Twitch, not so much. So just Twitter and Instagram, but I don't post to Instagram. Don't follow me there. Just Twitter.
All right, awesome. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ben. And
I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad. We're happy to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
It's
much.
a great time. Y'all are amazing role players. This is gonna be a blast.
Such a blast. All right, and finally, Travis.
I don't get a title introduction like Zeki.
Oh, no. You are 100% right. My bad. And finally, he, as one of our directors and founders, keeps our shit organized and on point. With no T will be left uncrossed, no I will be left undotted, because of the great resident enchanter and professor Zendark, aka Travis.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad I can fill those shoes for you, and you are correct. I am your resident wizard enchanter. You can catch me at Zendaric. I sometimes stream variety games myself, but you can also find me here. I am a tale weaver myself. We just started our campaign, The Radiant Citadel, and it is based on the Radiant Citadel book, but it's also my homebrew. So if you're interested and want to see that, we play on Mondays. So we're actually going to play tomorrow starting 7 p.m. So I hope you stop by and see us. And I personally have not been streaming as much. I've been prepping for this and some work stuff, but I plan to get back into streaming regularly myself. So if you want to see some variety games, come hang out. I'm a base builder, strategy tactician. So if that's your jam, come hang out at Zendaric on the things. And if you want to follow my, Twitters, well, that's still alive and around. I'm OMG, it's Travi on Twitter, so you can find me there. So it's been a blast, and I'm so excited to, see where this campaign takes us.
Awesome. And once again, I am your resident tale weaver, Omar, here. On both Amateur Productions and Tale of D20s, you'll find me. You can follow me at ThatSoOmar for my own cosplaying endeavors, or just at A Tale of D20s, and everything A Tale of D20s can be found at www.ataleofd20s.com. So, with that being said, I leave you all with this. Go out there and spread love, spread kindness, give someone a hug, and just be a good person to one another, because kindness is something that should be everywhere at all times, if it can be spread. Hopefully that made sense. So with that being said, we're going to put the bookmark in, close the chapter, and we will see you next time. From the first chapter to the last page, take care, everyone. Is there anyone we wish to raid? I don't have any of my normal raiders on today, so if anyone had any suggestions, I will go right ahead and get them raided.
Advanced Dungeons is still on. It's Advanced Dungeons. Just Advanced Dungeons is the
Advanced
handle.
Dungeons. Cool. So we will go ahead and give them a raid.
This was so much fun. Thanks for running it for us, Omar. Can't wait to see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week, anyone. All right, goodbye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Awesome. In the name of the internet, we will make some content.
I believe the raid went over.
Yeah, it went through.
Okay, good. All right, stop